you talking about?
Nothing.
What are you talking about? The RageSelect podcast? Did you do the RageSelect podcast already?
No, I didn't do it.
Did you do this podcast already when I wasn't looking?
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom for 5 minutes.
It's already posted.
Oh,
you don't even know.
No, I was going to say we're going to have a weird, I think it's going to be a weird podcast.
Do you guys want to make it weird?
It's going to get real weird. And by that, I mean, there's not very much news this week, which is a strange thing because.
Is that a relief?
Since I don't. No, because you know me, I went looking for more news, and I was like, oh,
wow, nobody's selling any NFTs this week?
No. Well, we're way past that.
Yeah.
We're in the AI. We're into the AI right now.
Does anybody AI generate some news for you?
Yeah, which is good.
I asked ChatGPT for some news ideas.
I just had Chat, like that guy with the court case. I just had ChatGPT just like make up video game news. I'm just gonna start doing a completely fictitious video game news show.
Should we not do that?
Probably should.
I think it's fine.
Probably should do that. We shouldn't do that here on the RageSelect podcast. Here on RageSelect, I'm Jeff.
I'm Amanda.
So yeah, we got one. I was very excited because last week Bandai Namco said that they were going to do like a thing at this anime expo last week and announce all this stuff. It's garbage. It's mostly garbage, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Actually, that's not even true that it's mostly garbage. It's mostly anime that I don't watch, and so I don't care about.
It's all everyone else is all hyped, and you're like, yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's my show, and I don't give a shit. But yeah, before we get into all of that, Amanda, tell me that you watched or did or played or something.
So I was
something interesting happened.
I was looking back on my stuff to see if I because I post pictures of like what I'm watching or reading or whatever.
Yep.
And there's only 2 movies that I've seen.
Okay. What were they?
1994's The Shadow starring Alec Baldwin and 1993's masterpiece The Three Musketeers starring Chris O'Donnell, Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, and Oliver Platt.
That's not even the good one.
First of all,
that's not even the good one.
Fucking dare you.
The Iron Mask is superior.
The whole reason we watched The Three Musketeers is because for like weeks now I've had to defend my celebrity crush of Oliver Platt. I really like Oliver Platt, genuinely like Oliver Platt. And everyone goes, ew, Oliver Platt, because they're thinking of him now as an older guy.
Yeah. He's in The Bear.
He is in The Bear.
He's in The Bear. I like him. He
was in
Bear.
Lake Placid, which is one of the first ones that I really had a crush on him. But he was in Three Musketeers, and he is adorable. And he's this like sarcastic guy who's like long hair and facial hair, and he's like really cute and very funny. And then so we rewatched it, and John's like, this is just me, right? And it's just John. I married my fucking childhood crush.
Oliver Platt.
Yeah, I married my variant of Oliver Platt. Tim Curry's in it. God damn it!
Oh wow.
Also, the song. Do you remember the song? Because it got stuck in my head after this.
No.
All for Love. Bryan Adams, Sting, and Phil Collins. Like you have to listen to it.
I don't. I feel so bad. I don't know if you're making the case for this movie the way you're like, it's got Tim Curry, it's got Oliver Platt, it's got a Bryan Adams
Michael
song.
Wincott.
Okay.
They're great. It's great. It's just like a fun swashbuckly type movie.
Yeah.
It's so weird. You picked a really weird
I just picked
section.
the first thing that happened when I typed in Three Musketeers 1993. And it's just Tim Curry.
It's Tim Curry being like, yeah, I'm going to take over and be king, and I'm probably going to defile that queen right there.
Okay.
But Michael Wincott with an eye patch looking like Puss in Boots. Can't tell me this shit isn't the greatest thing you've ever seen. They don't make movies like this anymore.
I'm pretty sure they do. Is that Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah, boy, I said Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
Kiefer and Charlie Sheen.
All right, I tell you what. I'm gonna get really drunk and I'm gonna watch them both back to back, and then we'll see.
I know that's not to
Drunk
say
Jeff is the ultimate arbiter of 1990s movies.
Yeah,
so.
and that's not to say I don't like Man in the Iron Mask, because I actually do.
Yeah.
But this movie was, first of all, this movie was the reason I had a crush on Oliver Platt.
Everything about Charlie Sheen's hair configuration is fucking ridiculous. There's so many goatees in this medieval movie.
Is that not a normal?
Not 90s goatees with the mustache connected to the beard.
Genuinely appreciate that they keep saying they all are American. Like nobody tries anything.
They didn't even try.
Yeah, like Chris O'Donnell straight up sounds like he's from New York. Like, it's very funny to me.
Okay.
He's like, yo, the Three Musketeers here. Like, you might as well watch Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Michael Wincott looks like he's in fucking, like he's in the fucking Spin Me Right Round video with his hair.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that's so funny.
With the eye patch and everything.
The all black shirt. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh my God.
It's fun. It's a masterpiece. Everyone should watch it.
I don't know how I can't watch it at this point. I mean, it's going to have to go on my list at some point. I'm going to get really drunk and then.
Yeah, and then you have to kind of remember that what Charlie Sheen was like when people liked him. Because, like, fuck, it's hard to rewatch.
Everybody's got a goatee in this movie.
Yeah, dude.
They've got the exact same facial hair. They just copy-pasted everybody's facial hair.
Whoever their hair and makeups person was like, I'm pretty sure medieval times was mullets and goatees. And you know what? I'm not going to. Look at there he is. Oh, he's so cute. He has a headband the entire time. I think he has a wig on and they didn't know how to hide it. And so they were like, let's just cover his hairline.
I'm spoiling the end of this movie for myself. I'm
yeah,
the climactic finale.
Yeah, it turns out there's sword fighting in it.
Oh my goodness. Well, cool.
Chris O'Donnell with the girliest, luscious hair I've ever seen.
Chris O'Donnell, he's a pretty girl. He's a super pretty girl.
He is. He was the delightful young chap back in the day. But it's a fun movie and it's real short and it's like one of those, PG-13 fun times for all in the 90s kind of movies. And then you'll get that song stuck in your head. It's so funny. It's like the theme song. It's the end credits song. Mm-hmm. And it's just so 90s and so hokey and so corny.
Well, I know a way to get songs out of my head because
alcohol.
Last week, whilst every so often when I get drunk, I will go and I will watch like a variety of different. I usually have go-tos. Sometimes it's music videos.
Yeah. Sometimes
it'll be like a sketch from something or whatever. And a long time ago. A lot of times it would be like songs from musicals. So I'd like pull up like Dance Magic from Labyrinth. One time I got drunk and like downloaded a pirate copy of Labyrinth so that I could have like there's a part in the middle of Dance Magic where they cut away and then they like cut back for like the end of the song. And I like literally drunkenly downloaded that movie and cut that part out and then just rendered the song so I could just watch the song without it. But last week I watched a little clip from and then proceeded to watch the entirety of Little Shop of Horrors again.
Yeah. Ugh, I love that movie.
Which I...
Directed by Frank Oz, also the voice of Miss Piggy.
Yep. Wow, when did that movie come out? Because I'm pretty sure that whenever it came out, like I was not old enough to have watched it.
86?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's
it was
right.
Like 87, 86, something like that.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah.
It was just every time I watch that, every time I go back and watch that, I'm like, there's like 40% of this movie that is probably appropriate for kids, but between how goddamn sexy the chorus is, how goddamn sexy Audrey is with her boobs hanging out the entire time, and then all of the stuff with Steve Martin.
I was gonna say
all of it.
I'm like 90% sure that the Steve Martin and Bill Murray scene was my introduction to kink and fetish because I rewatched it not too long ago, and I was like.
There was no way when 1986 I was 8 years old.
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet, but I watched it as a kid.
And there was no way in the world that I would have been able to understand what was happening in that scene where it was like, this is weird.
Where he's like sitting on his heels, like he's like not even in the chair.
Right.
And you're just like, as a kid, I couldn't have possibly.
Well, yeah, and it like the thing is, you could play that scene off a whole way up until the point where he grabs Steve Martin's back and starts moaning.
Yeah,
and like, Anyway, I'm just really glad. I don't remember where it's. Oh, yeah, it's on HBO Max right now. And I'm really glad that the version that's on HBO Max is the original version and not. There was a thing for a while there where you could only get like they restored the original ending where the Seymour and Audrey die and Audrey 2 goes and takes over the world and they've got the big plant monsters and stuff. The original ending that didn't
that's
test well.
the Frank Oz ending.
Yeah. But I don't like that because that wasn't what I watched when I was a kid.
I want the better ending.
I want the better ending. So yeah, I watched that. If you haven't seen it in a while,
watch it.
It's great. It's
one of my favorite musicals.
It's so worth it. I also watched that new. I'm gonna say three things. The last one's gonna transition us into the news.
Okay.
I watched that John Mulaney special on Netflix.
Oh, how
Baby
was
J.
that?
It's so I don't keep up with celebrity news.
I'm not like a big John Mulaney fan anyway. Like I think he's funny, but so I don't know if I've ever seen any of his other specials.
So the thing is that I don't keep up with celebrity news. I didn't know this. John Mulaney like went to rehab because he was just like fucking coked out of his mind all the time. He had like a huge drug problem.
Yeah.
Big intervention. He went to rehab.
Yeah, left his wife, married Olivia Munn, had a baby.
Yeah. And so this is him doing that comedy special where he talks about going to rehab. And it was really strange because he was talking about how he's like so much less manic, and I was like, I'm not as familiar with his stuff, and I was like, huh. So last week I pulled up one of his old comedy specials on my phone, and I was listening to it through Spotify, and I was like, oh yeah. Now that you know, this guy is on hella drugs.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. It was on Netflix. It was good. I mean, is there? And they make a case these days. Is there anything worth getting Netflix for?
I literally canceled Netflix and then I brought it back and I just canceled it again like 2 months ago.
I feel like you just make a list, right? You're like, okay, season 3 of I Think You Should Leave. Maybe I'm going to watch Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Watch that new John Mulaney special. I hear that show Beef is pretty good. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get Netflix, watch everything I want, and cancel Netflix, and then next year come back and get it again.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it, I think. Yeah. Like, I think the Max or HBO Max or whatever is more worth the money.
Yeah.
Because there's always something I want to watch on there. But like,
they just put Evil Dead Rise on there, right?
They put all the Evil Dead movies on there.
Oh, there you go.
And I will watch all of them.
Did you watch Evil Dead Rise?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
No, I was very busy watching the Three Musketeers.
Great. Wonderful. That's wonderful. Now the thumbnail for this is good. I'm gonna have to spend 2 hours on Sunday night trying to find a picture of the Three Musketeers that's not on a Polaroid from 1998 or something. Like,
why? I mean, it's perfect. It's fine.
No,
watch the movie and then just screenshot the best scene.
You just told me you know where to steal movies from. Go steal a 4K version of it. And then I also last week I rewatched all of season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen because that's coming back, and Jujutsu Kaisen rules, and everybody should watch it.
Is that the one where the guy has like a demon attached to him or something? And it like shows up on his hand, like if he covers it. My friend has a tattoo of that image, and I feel like it was a Jujutsu Kaisen thing.
It's the main character. The thing is that, Jujutsu Kaisen more than anything else is like a really good Jujutsu Kaisen. So this is the main character.
Yeah.
And he's the whole premise, I mean, it's some like, okay, the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen that I haven't seen anywhere else is that it is a horror shonen. So most of the time, it's like, oh, here's Naruto and him and his ninja buddies are going to train and become the best. And this one is like, this guy eats one of the 20 cursed fingers of the demon lord.
That's right. Yeah. I think
and like
John and my bestie told me about it.
Yeah. And then like the whole thing is that he has to go to demon school, and they're like, well, we can kill you now, or you can help us get the other 19 fingers and eat them all and become the demon lord, and then we'll kill you.
Yeah. Being like, ooh, kill me now, please. I'll take Express lane, baby.
But the interesting thing about it is that there's a movie, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, that was a prequel.
Yeah.
That is
animated as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's on Crunchyroll with everything else. And unlike a lot of anime movies, it was like, I went back and watched Jujutsu Kaisen season 1. They reference stuff that happened in the movie, and like the bad guy one of the bad guys that's kind of walking around in the background is like the bad guy from the movie. So like you would really, it would, unlike a lot of other animes, it'd be great to just watch this movie and that's like your intro. And if you like this 1-2 hour movie, it's no commitment, right? You can be like, oh, now I can go into the series. And not only will you be like going into that same world because they switch, the protagonist from the movie isn't the protagonist from the show, but you're going to get to know a lot of the characters and you're going to get a lot of background that's going to be useful when you're watching it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, you know, I'm
just kind of giving you a feel like a.
Well, to me, they're either like, the problem I have with, oh god, we gotta go. The problem with anime movies, right, is that like they either have to be like so disconnected from the main story that they can't affect it, right? Because you can't be guaranteed that everybody's going to watch the movie, or it could be like what Demon Slayer did, where it was like Mugen Train the movie was just 6 episodes of the show smooshed together into a movie, so that they could then cut them up and make them into episodes. And it's like, well, that you're just watching a fast forward of the next season, and the other way, they're always really epic, but then you go back to the main story. It always has to do a Star Trek reset where you have to be able to go back.
Yeah, everything starts the way it ends kind of deal.
But Zero did a good job of being a prequel. Also, this one dude, I forgot about him. He's great.
Nice.
He, God, what is his name? He shows up in one of the episodes, and the thing is that he's like a super strong guy, and he just asks like, what kind of woman is like, what kind of woman do you like? And if he doesn't get a satisfactory answer, he beats people up, and he's like, I like tall women with big butts like Jennifer Lawrence. And then he asks the main character, what kind of women do you like? And he's like, I don't know, like tall women with big butts like Jennifer Lawrence. And this guy, he starts crying, and then it flashes into this scene where like, now they're going to high school together and they're best friends, and like he asks a girl out, she rejects him, and he's like, nah, come on buddy, we're gonna go get some ramen or whatever, and he's like, you're my best friend now, and the main character is like, what? And he's like, we're best friends, don't make me kill you by saying you're not my best friend.
All right, best pal.
It's great. Also, there's a panda guy, and this is all relevant because
it feels relevant.
We had the anime, Namco Bandai Namco Summer Anime Showcase I mentioned before, and the big thing that they finished their show with was the first like honest Jujutsu Kaisen video game. So
nice.
They announced it's an arena fighter, like all of them are.
Yeah.
But it's a 2v2. It's going to be a Switch game, and it's a 2v2 battle game where you can play as like the main character or this lady with the hammer. And I just watched the whole season. I can't remember anybody's names.
Yeah.
The spiky hair guy, I know his name is Megumi because he's got a girl name, and this is what they say. This guy with with his face covered, he's like the most powerful guy. So this is like with that thing when you're watching like Injustice, and it's like Superman versus like the Creeper, and you're like, well, that's not a thing.
You're gonna die.
I don't know. I'm always a little torn with these because on the one hand, like it's kind of cool to be able to play something about your favorite anime. And they announced like 4 or 5 different things, and most of them I don't care about. So this is like the only one that I care about. On the other hand, these types of games aren't super duper duper like appealing to me.
Yeah.
But
looks nice though. I mean, it looks good. It kind of just looks, this is gonna get me some flack, I'm sure, but it kind of just looks like the Dragon Ball games, because it like they figured out how to make an anime game look like the anime, and then they just stick with it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to look like a fucking 8-bit pixel thing, but you know, it just once it looks like it, that's it. Then
Sorry,
I
should have said this. This is on everything, not just Switch. PS4, PS5, Xbox, all the Steam, everything.
Every single one.
No, I get that. I think that a lot of it, so like part of this I think is this, it's just this weird thing that's happened where like so much of anime is like two dudes, so much of shonen anime is two dudes fighting each other, and then it's like that's the exciting part is when the two dudes fight each other. And so they wanted to come up with a system where it's like two dudes fight each other, but not like Street Fighter, like in a bigger area, but you're still just like connected to this.
Would you feel better if it was like Street Fighter?
I liked Street Fighter better.
So if they were like Jujutsu Kaisen, it like just player v player Street Fighter style, these guys are just like fighting each other. This is the class in high school where they're gonna fucking fight.
Well, that's what Dragon Ball FighterZ was for years. They've been doing this style game, and then Dragon Ball FighterZ was like the Blaze Blue guys made a Street Fighter version of Dragon Ball, and I would rather have that because I think that the focus there is a lot more on like the individual combat, whereas with these, because they're so open, you've got like kind of positioning and like how far away you are. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like I still think that all anime fans should deserve or should demand better games than these sorts of games.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Like it's a lot of work to make these things. And the thing is that, you know, you think you're going to catch flack. Here comes me catching flack. Anime fans will buy whatever. Like, it just like, I've yet to see a thing. I've yet to see a Dragon Ball product that comes out that Michael won't buy. Yeah. Right. Like, and that's just not. He's my main example. Right. But, like I would probably end up getting this even if I didn't run a YouTube channel, because because
you're also one of those anime fans.
Because I'm also kind of one of those anime fans. Well, the thing is, okay, at the beginning of this trailer,
threw Michael under the bus just to be the example yourself, Jeff.
At the beginning of this trailer, they also show like what looks like a little bit of story content. So like, they show really briefly this one guy. It's like a demon, or they're called curses in the series. Like this curse guy that they fight in one part of the show. So like I'm hoping that there's that guy right there. There's some kind of like story mode that at least gives you a little bit. But then My Hero Academia did the same thing, and it ended up just being like, so what you have is you have a cutscene, you have a visual novel cutscene info dump, and then you do one of these fights, and then you stop and you have another
info dump cutscene, or and
then I could say like, whoa, well, there was the Kill la Kill one, and then that one just had too much story where I was like, but then I never get to fight anybody. Yeah. So
I want a happy medium of murder and story.
I wish that they would make anime games that were like, you know, I was talking about Final Fantasy 16, right? Final Fantasy 16 is a good third-person combat game, you know, and it's got a lot of story to it, right? That would be a good basis for something like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. The problem, of course, being just that most animes don't have tons of disposable enemies like you need in video games. So you can add all of those disposable. You
can't create a thing that creates multiple. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, like Power Rangers has the big enemies, but they also have
the putties.
And then you go, oh man, for a video game you just go, oh, it's just a variants of putties that these guys got shields and those guys got they're orange so they explode, and then you just do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times
you can variant
when they do that, those battles then end up feeling very boring because you're like, I want the big battle.
If you do it right, you could do it right.
I know. At the end of the day,
I say as somebody who doesn't make video games.
At the end of the day, what it should be said for this stuff is that like they don't need to. And if you can make a budget video game that sells very well just based on the IP rights, why bother? Why bother with an 8-year development cycle to get some somebody in to do something special? Yeah,
you also kind of run the risk of putting all that time and effort into something and that the anime is not even around anymore, so you're not really like marketing at the correct time.
Or it's 3 seasons ahead and you've got the season 1 arc going on.
Yeah.
Or it's fine and it sells really well with anime fans, but it doesn't cross over, and so
and all that effort was for nothing when they would have just risks.
Anyway, that was the finale of this thing. The rest of this, we can go through pretty fast.
All right, let's do it.
There was a Naruto x Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections.
Boruto. I can't get over
Boruto. They finished Naruto, and then they said, but what about his kid?
Can I get 700 episodes on the other one, the little one?
I had a really hard time with this. It took me like 40 minutes of research to figure out just what in the fucking what because this is the 4th Ultimate Ninja Storm game, I believe. And they've been going on for quite a while now. And so, okay, this one focuses on, because I'm so used to Dragon Ball where they just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But apparently the Ninja Storm games, it's like the first Ninja Storm game covers like the first arc of Naruto, and then the second one like picks up where that ends and goes.
Oh, so they're like chapters of ongoing story.
So this one says, this is from an article online, says it will focus on a fight between Naruto and Sasuke leading to the crisis of the 5th Great Ninja War.
Ah, yes, of course.
This is the unsatisfying part where neither one of us know jack shit about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, certainly looks like a bunch of guys punching each other super hard.
Certainly does.
There's a lady.
All I ever think of when I hear Naruto is when I worked at Barnes & Noble and a dude in the manga section was trying to hit on me.
Yeah.
While I was working, and I said Naruto, and he went, "You mean Naruto?"
Oh,
and I went, "I'm gonna go now." And I just like, that's all I just get like a flashback into it.
Have fun with the rest of your day where nobody touches your genitals.
Yeah, he's just like,
I hope it was worth it.
Even, the funny thing is, he was like awkward but not doing a terrible job.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't gonna go out with him because I was at work and he was already being kind of forward in a way I didn't like, but like he was fine, and then he just Naruto, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm going. All right.
See ya. Have fun. Yeah. Have a great time. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, this appears to be, I think this is the same team. I think I looked it up. The same team that's been making these for years. They're the team that made that. Remember when we played that Demon Slayer game?
Yes.
It's the
where
same.
It felt like it was like watching the episodes.
Yeah.
It was weird because directly after that I watched the episodes and I'm like, I know all this already. I was there.
And then like I think they made the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game that Michael and I played, where I got really mad at him for taking it easy on me. And
I've learned to let go of that because Michael's better at video games than me.
No, I just want him to kick my ass. I don't want him to go easy. I don't want his pity.
See, this is the scene with Steve Martin and Bill Murray all over again.
No, I don't enjoy it. It's just real. I don't want your pity. Like, kick my ass normally, and it's fine. I'm not going to get that salty. I'm going to get more mad if you don't kick my ass.
There is some sort of emotional damage that you take from knowing.
Yes. Yes.
I would rather not know. So when I go against Michael, I just pretend like I don't know, and it makes me happy. Watch Michael and I played Smash Brothers. Be aware that I was both aware that he was taking it easy on me and pretending to myself that I was unaware.
Just kick my ass. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I had a conversation with him afterwards, and I was like, that time we played Smash and you were like super easy on me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I was really easy on you. I'm like, thank you. You didn't have to say it like that.
Just admit it. Just admit it. Anyway, this looks, I mean, like, if you're into Naruto, this looks like it's going to be really good. Or Naruto, or whatever. Don't fucking come at me, bro. I do not give a shit.
I will not touch your pee-pee, so it's not going to happen either way.
You're not getting laid by Jeff no matter what you do. I got things to do.
Unless you're a Patreon subscriber, then you got a maybe, baby.
Maybe. We got, like, Amanda, they did this thing. They had this 56-minute show the game, and then like we're gonna do like a round table where a bunch of guys are sitting around like talking about stuff.
Cosplayers are behind them.
Somebody,
look how cute they are, though.
Oh, we're not there yet. That's Sword Art Online.
Oh, my bad, guys.
Anyway, I watched the whole thing and just started fast forwarding halfway through it because I was like, I don't care. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2. It was a GameCube game. There was like a JRPG where you fought with like cards.
Okay.
So you ran around and you did your normal like RPG, but then when you fought, you had like a little deck of cards. And this was announced at a Nintendo Direct, I think like in February or something like that.
Okay.
So they talked a little bit about how they're adding that thing in that happens with a lot of modern RPGs where like you can turn off, you can like make the game way easier or like skip some battles or do whatever.
They're like, we have baby mode.
Yeah, because you could be like a tax-paying adult who doesn't have all the time to remember how to play some GameCube RPG.
Yeah.
And if it's a choice between letting you like power through or having you just be like, I don't have time for that, then they might as well. There wasn't much more to it than that. Let's see. The remaster, instant KO. And up the battle speed by 300%. So make every enemy in the game a one-hit kill and up the battle animation speed by 300%.
I mean, I kind of wouldn't mind the battle speed.
Yeah.
Like, I already don't like RPGs, so, take that with a grain of salt. But there is sometimes, like, when I try to play and they just... it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And it's never exciting. And to me, it feels really repetitive. So it's like, fuck, dude, just go faster.
We played Final Fantasy VI last night, and I streamed it to the Discord. And
that was
one
fun.
of the things that they did in there was like, one, they gave you just a run button that you can use at any time. So when you're walking around, you can just blah, 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 blah. And then two, if you hit one button, it would just repeat everything that you did last time. So you could basically be like, I want this guy to attack. I want this guy to do a special move. I want this guy to do a thing.
And that makes sense because if you like know your party well enough to know like my first three moves are always going to be the same. This guy does this, that guy does that, this guy does this.
Yep.
Then why do you have to fucking
tap it,
do it every single time, especially if it's like anything that's like a multi-select thing or it's like I gotta go through here and then select this.
Yep.
And then power up and it's just like, no, do it. Just automatically. You know what I want.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. Let's see. Sword Art Online was where we got all the cosplay ladies that came out.
They look cute.
Because this is one of those. I'm not a Sword Art Online guy. What I didn't realize though, Sword Art Online has had a video game came out every year since 2013.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a guy goes into an MMO. He like dies and goes into an MMO, and it turns out that he's the strongest guy in the MMO. It's basically like they've started doing this thing with animes where instead of I died and then reincarnated as a knight in a fantasy world. It's like I went into this computer. I went into this video game.
What are those called? Isekai?
Isekai. It's kind of like an isekai. It's probably technically an isekai, but from this trailer, I don't know. It's obviously like everyone in here is a boobalicious anime waifu except for the main character,
who's a dude.
Okay. So
it's like, what's wrong with the main character's boobs? Are they not boobalicious?
No, what's funny is that they literally, like, this trailer, they've got one that's a story trailer, and then they have this original characters trailer where all they do is show every character, and they do one voice line from them. They've got, like, a little window in the back where they're attacking. And then, like, halfway through, they just show, like, one guy. It's all women, but then halfway through...
I'm ready to fight! I'm here to blah, blah, blah. I'm the male character.
I'm the guy. And then it just goes back to doing the same thing. We're like, here's, like, 8 more ladies.
Is it really pretty? Gee, I don't know. I guess I'm just like ultra feminine. This is a cute outfit. Yeah. I'm the same guy. It's just me again.
It's just me again. So
that's funny.
And I think that like some of these ladies are dressed. They're like dressed up like the characters.
Some of the characters.
From
Yeah,
thing.
that makes sense.
This is apparently like some kind of. Unlike what we were saying before, this appears to be like an action game, and it appears to be a new alternate history story based in this. So like this anime is already done, but they're like going back to like one arc of it and then spinning out into a what if side story instead of just slavishly following the plot.
Yeah, which that's cool because then it gives, if you're a fan of it, you have more content.
Yep.
Because, this is a whatever. This is a multiverse.
And yeah, it's coming out October 6th of this year. So
can I ask an isekai question?
Sure.
This is unrelated.
Yeah.
Would the second Hellraiser movie be a isekai because she goes into the Hellraiser world?
No.
Okay.
She didn't die.
Oh, you have to die to be an isekai?
Typically.
All right. So there's this movie from the 90s called Adventures in Dinosaur City, and the kids' parents are scientists, and they created portals.
Okay.
And the kids, but it looks like a TV screen, so they use the TV screen to watch Adventures in Dinosaur City, which is like a TV show they watch.
Yep.
And then it transports them into the world of Dinosaur City.
Yes.
Not an isekai.
Not an isekai.
Okay.
Because generally speaking, part of the isekai is that the person dies in the real world, and then when they
so it's like Alice in Wonderland, except instead of falling asleep, she died.
Yes.
Okay.
When they reincarnate, they usually have some kind of power that then makes them the most important person for the story.
Yeah.
Like there's one that's just like, I've got a cell phone. And so it's literally like he's in a fantasy world, but he can like look stuff up on his cell phone or whatever. Like
I died in the real world, but in this medieval land, I have Google. Therefore, I'm a god.
No, there's a bunch. I'm sure you don't even like. You probably haven't even heard of half of these. One of them is like one of them is a guy that was like he was like a manager at his office job, and when he dies, he uses all of the productivity skills that he has in running an office to streamline this kingdom into the most powerful kingdom in the land, because he's just like
insane.
Clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
I'm micromanaging. I'm delegating, and like, oh, you could, instead of this bullshit.
Yeah.
The one that's coming out soon. Let me see if I can. Here, this is a good tangent. And then there's when the people reincarnate as something that doesn't exist, like something different. Like there's one that's where a guy becomes a sword.
Isn't there one where a guy becomes like a big rig or like a bus?
I don't know. You might be thinking of this one where the guy becomes a vending machine.
Oh my god.
Where the guy dies, and then when he comes back to life, he is just like a vending machine. And so because he can like dispense cool stuff, like he's able to like he gets somebody to like I think carry him around or whatever, and then so yes, reborn as a vending machine.
Perfect.
And then there's a waifu to carry this vending machine man around. There's one that's just like I'm just using modern farming techniques or something like that. There's one called Ascendance of a Bookworm that's just like this lady that reincarnates as a child. She's trying to learn how to read, or I don't even know what that one's about. Anyway.
Anime is fun. I just appreciate them being like, we will explore all possibilities at all times.
Yes. That's why I keep going back, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get it. Because, like, American television really struggles with it.
Sure.
You know, like, everything has to be, like, it's not realistic. Like, fuck, that's, there's a big issue for me with, like, superhero movies is the, like, people, that character just should be an evil fucking piece of shit because it's not realistic if he's not. And it's like, I'm watching superheroes, man. If anything.
Well, I don't know. Last week I was like, I just watched 2 seasons of a guy running a sandwich shop in Chicago.
Yeah.
And before that, the last thing that I watched on American television that was interesting was like the 5th season of Shitty Spoiled Rich Kids trying to take over their dad's company for fucking 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even like this show, but I'm watching it. And then they're like, what if you died and then you went to Dungeons and Dragons, but you were a vending machine?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yes.
Go on.
Right? Yeah.
Is Tim Curry there?
Yeah, but tell me.
How many goatees are there?
If there's not sword fighting and mullets, then I don't want it.
Yeah. And then last, I mean, just to finish this up, we got a little bit more of Sandland.
Sandland.
Which Sandland is apparently...
Welcome to Sandland. We have... Sand.
It's the Dragon Ball guy.
Okay.
Toriyama. It was like it was based on a manga that he did after he finished Dragon Ball that apparently was like too niche and nobody wanted it. Everybody was like, more Dragon Ball. Boo.
So I bet that means it's super fun.
Probably. It seems like...
You know when like artists get to do their own thing and step away from the thing that everyone wants them to do, and then they have more fun and make that weird shit?
Yep.
That's the stuff.
So it appears to be something where it's like it's a world where water, it's like a dune sort of, where like water is very scarce, and there's like a little demon kid that like teams up with this guy and then goes around the desert. And apparently I heard Michael say this in passing, but I don't know if I heard him right. Akira Toriyama loves drawing cars and trucks and like tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
And so this was his like the whole point of this is that everybody drives around in this kind of Mad Max thing with different like trucks and cars and tanks and stuff. I think it looks all right. The Toriyama stuff kind of grates on me. I'm not the biggest fan of his art, but
his visual style I don't love, and I think it's only because of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like, because it's all you see for such a long time that it's hard to like get away from it.
Yeah. So they had a really brief moment where they kind of showed what the game is like, and it's like kind of a third person. Like they showed some of the like driving around vehicles. They showed a little mech guy and they showed a tank. I don't know. It looks fun driving around in a tank shooting at stuff.
Yeah. I like the little imp demon guy. Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah. So, that was it. And then they ended with Jujutsu Kaisen, and that was it. There's a few more stories that will kind of come up over the course of all this. But for the most part, that was kind of the anime expo. And I was like, oh, man, I don't have anything to say about most of that. And
did you, have you seen any news about the anime expo? Because it was,
I saw that it was packed.
It was packed so much that apparently people were at risk in the artist alley of fainting.
Yeah,
because there was like no air to circulate.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, there's probably enough air, but it smelled like an anime expo. So
man, when we went to E3, I've never been so glad that I smoke.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't smell any of you nerds, and I couldn't be happier about that. Okay, let's roll through some more stories.
Hell yeah.
Last week we had a huge amount of news about the FTC-Microsoft, or the Microsoft versus FTC with their whole buying Activision Blizzard thing. They were in court, so we had a bunch of court transcripts to read, which was cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
But apparently one of the things that happened from this was that the judge from the trial accidentally outed that there's probably going to be a PlayStation 5 Slim at some point this year.
Oh.
And with a price of $399. Like, because this is one of the best things that happens when it comes to this is that the normies get a hold of information
and
that
they don't know
like
what needs to be kept
jealously
secret.
Guarded secret, right? Part of this too, and I think that the reason this came up was because one of the arguments that Sony / the FTC, because they're kind of the same thing right now, have been trying to make about this is that when they talk about the quote-unquote video game industry, they should only be talking about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X.
Right.
Like, no Switch. And it's like, so Microsoft has said, we have an Xbox Series S that is like literally within $50 of the price of the Switch, and it's $50 less than the price of a Switch OLED. And Sony is about to put out a PlayStation with a $400 price tag, which, considering that the Switch OLED is $350, like that's close enough that you cannot, like, you're buying a dedicated thing to play video games. You can't just write this out of the consideration.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find exactly what it was. The exact leak. I can only find, I think that the judge or whatever deleted, or it wasn't screenshotted or something.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the exact information, but
what did he fucking tweet it? He's like, my bad.
I think so. I can't tell, but I believe that
people
that's
still
true.
use Twitter?
Yeah, I was fucking, God damn it. I signed up for Instagram today. I hate Instagram. I don't want Instagram. But I'm like, if they're going to put, because I want to use that not Twitter that fucking Zuck is putting out. Threads? Something like that? Whatever.
Did you know there is a social media network that has just started?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch right now. There's like Blue Sky or something, and then
Mastodon.
Yeah. There's a bunch, right? Yeah. People have been posting different ones. There's one called Spill.com.
I did see that.
I was like, No, okay, so hear me out. I genuinely enjoyed and loved my time at spill.com. Do not question that. But I will say that if that becomes the network that everyone's using, I'm not doing it. I spent my time at spill.com. I can't go back. I'm not going back.
It's just an app, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, but what's so funny is just the fact that it was like, yeah, like the idea that you or I could be logging into spill.com.
I'm not doing
and I'm
it.
like, it's the same website.
Yeah,
it's
same
literally
exactly,
the same website.
100% can't do it. I was like, got all
I'm
jittery.
going to join the wait list right now. I'm putting it in. Anything you want to spill? Yeah. I was here before you existed.
It just, oh my God, it's so weird. It's this equivalent of like you trying to sit in at junior high again. Like it feels so weird.
You just go into your database and search for Professor Jeff. That's my login. I've got equity. I don't have equity, but
so yeah. I saw that Cargill fucking posted it.
Yeah.
Like even the way they were, I don't know, like the little spill written on there, just fucking.
I should get out my business cards, my spill business cards that I still have. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
put a little splatter behind there.
No.
You need a little spill splatter behind there.
If that happens, I'm fucking leaving the internet. But I have made the active decision. I'm not joining anything else.
Yeah.
Like if it's Twitter goes, I'm done with Twitter.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The thing is, I don't actually care about any of this shit. I'm just looking for places to post links to RageSelect videos.
Yeah.
Like I don't use social media the way that people use it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm
just like if all these websites go away and they're gone forever.
Yeah.
Good. Then I don't have anything.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Now I don't have anything. I'm free. These shackles are, you know what I mean? Like just.
No, I get you.
But I'm definitely not fucking doing spill.com. I tell you right now.
It's just weird.
It's too weird.
That's too weird. One of the other things that was leaked by the judge was that
that judge was fucking out here logging all this shit.
Yeah, Call of Duty is there's gonna be a new Call of Duty this year. Well, sort of. Apparently, I cannot tell. Okay. Earlier in the year, it was reported that Call of Duty was going to be taking a year off because they were like pumping them out as just not doing what it used to, and they've had some like stumbles and some bad ones. Even though last year with Modern Warfare 2, that was like really well received.
Yeah.
But like the year before with Vanguard, they were starting to see like it's not a sure thing anymore.
Yeah. Is anything in this economy?
I don't know, but apparently the deal is that there's something coming out in November for Call of Duty. And right now, what is reported is that it's called a premium expansion. So, but then they're calling it Modern Warfare 3. Like, it's going to be its own SKU, but technically it's going to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2 that came out last year. But like, they can't develop a whole new game in 1 year, so it's got to just be like more content based on Modern Warfare 2. So like, what?
Yeah, that's confusing to me. That my pea brain.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder though whether like right now there was a whole thing where Microsoft had like a guaranteed contract with Sony for like 5 more Call of Duty games, and they were like, okay, well, there's the one coming out this year, and we've got Modern Warfare 2 coming out next year, and then releasing Warzone 2.0, so that's another Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
We've got expansion. Oh no, wait, that's a whole game. That's another Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Whether they could
Thank God they're not flooding the market.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the thing is that I would love to sit here and be like, Call of Duty is over. Fucking, we're finally free of its curse. But like, no, everybody fucking loves that shit and they play it all the time.
That's fine. It just seems to be the basis of comparison for like success for a lot of games.
Yeah.
And its own games.
It's kind of it's kind of one of the reasons why I have such a hard time with the Microsoft Blizzard Activision acquisition, where it's like, oh no, they'll have World of Warcraft and Call of Duty and Candy Crush. 3 fucking games that I have no interest in playing.
Yeah,
like,
I'm good.
Oh no, they'll make them platform exclusive. I own all the platforms, so
yeah.
You're gonna put games I don't want to play on platforms that I don't really care about? Oh no.
That is always a rough conversation because like you, me, I think even like Michael, well not me, but like John, own all the consoles.
Yep.
Mostly. Like, we don't have a PlayStation 5, but we're getting there.
Hey, they got a Slim coming out later
I
this
don't.
year.
Honestly, the funny thing is, I was like, I got to talk to John about that. That it doesn't affect us as much.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a weird, like, well, I don't really care bias. That's unfair because some people can only really do the one console.
True.
And that console should be Nintendo. Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not. If you're a console gamer, the Switch is its own thing to me.
See, not to God, I really don't.
You said we didn't have a lot of news. I'm taking us on.
I know. This is all the news we have right here. Right?
Yeah,
that's all the news.
I know.
So,
nothing.
One of the things that you bring up an interesting point, something that I've kind of been starting to go down the road of when it comes to my argumentation for this is like, do you have the right to play all the games that I mean, like, when I was younger, I could only afford a PlayStation. When I was a teenager, me and my best friend, we didn't make that much money, but we were able to split a PS1 and we played that. I could afford a PS2 when they first came out. So I didn't get to play PS2 games until I could save up and afford to have a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like, oh no, they're going to take Call of Duty off of the one console that I have. And it's like, I keep coming back to this thing where it's like there are console exclusive games.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it's more abnormal to live in a world where like games that used to be multi-platform are now moving to be platform specific.
Yeah.
But guess what? You used to be able to buy Netflix and that was the only streaming service that you fucking needed.
Yeah.
I pay $100 a month for Hulu and Max and Crunchyroll and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and the idea that it's like, if you want to play everything, you're going to have to think of a financial way. I mean, let's say that even if you wanted to play everything, the first thing you're going to have to be able to afford is all of these games, right? You're going to have a way to get all these different games that you want. So, you know, and I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to be shitty about it, because what the other day Google was like, hey, we got a special deal for you. If you buy an $1,800 Google Pixel unfolding phone, we'll send you a free watch. And I was like, I don't want any of that. And I never want to spend I bought a Pixel 4. This is a poor man phone.
Wildly upset that you've suggested this.
Right. Like, I don't know who you think I am. So yeah, the idea that it's like, I get that it feels shitty that things are getting taken away that used to be available.
Yeah.
But having gone through several different cycles of like certain industries where like they have a monumental rise and then they contract, like, or you'll get a point where, you know, all the companies are trying to lure in new customers, and so they're all offering these fucking great deals.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is wonderful. It's so awesome. This is great. And then suddenly it stops being that because the market starts tightening up.
Right.
And you're like, what is this bullshit? Like, why isn't everything free anymore? And it's like, because it's not.
Because it's, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I try to have sympathy over the like, well, we can't afford, because like even John and I don't have we don't have the PlayStation 5, which is the only console that we don't have. But like, one, it was really hard to get.
We also have 2 Switches.
We do. But I have the cheaper Switch, not the more expensive Switch. But we also we're just grown-ups and we have money sometimes, not a lot of the time. But I try to have sympathy for the like, I only have one console, I only have 2 consoles, and the exclusives mean I'm not going to get 1 or 2 games that I want. But also like, in general in life, I have to deal with the like, I don't have all the streaming services. And
you can't always get what you want.
You can't. Well, you're not always going to get everything, and especially with like media, any form of media, there's always something that you're going to miss out on. Even if you like have access to it, nobody can watch every show that comes out and every movie that comes out and read every #1 fucking book that everyone wants to read, also playing every game, and also like, so you're always going to be somebody that picks and chooses in life, whether you realize it or not. So like, you even now are making do with like, I'm not getting this, or I'm not going to consume that. It's the weird like, but I want access to it, even if like I want it shouldn't be an exclusive, and then you don't even play it anyway. Like it's that sort of thing that
as
I feel
somebody who has all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I have now, like, trust me when I tell you that if you have all of this stuff, you are now going to run up against, like, do I have time? Like, I'm trying as hard as I can to finish Final Fantasy 16, but then it's also like, well, shit. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out on VOD, and I wanted to watch that. Jujutsu Kaisen is coming back. I think Hell's Paradise is one more season, and it's just like I'm trying to like think about my weekend. Also, I'd like to sleep in this weekend because I keep having to wake up to record this shit. So it's like,
and that's not even including fucking John and I are thinking about getting like gym memberships and being able to go to the fucking gym and having mental health stuff. And it's like I'm in what I call a mental holding pattern, which means that unless it's something I desperately want to watch or consume, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I can't watch anything. I can't read anything. I have a whole list of books I'm trying to read right now. And like I stopped mid-book because my brain just won't let me continue. I'm in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
And it's like it sounds shitty. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm literally the closest thing I have to playing a video game is Pikmin Bloom on my phone, which is barely a game. It's more like a step counter than anything. But like, and that's just the reality of life.
Yep.
You just fucking, and then it'll all click back, and then I'll try to catch up with what I can, and then fucking, well, too bad for the rest of it.
Yeah. Can't do everything. You can't do everything.
What if I could, though? But what if I could?
What if I lived forever and also had infinite money? That sounds nice.
The lottery is up to $500 million. So if I win, I'm going to buy Spill back.
If you win, you better buy RageSelect. I'm waiting for a buyout for a decade.
I'm going to buy RageSelect and then turn it into a tangible thing, and then I'm going to light it on fire.
By buying RageSelect, you're going to take all the hard drives with all the old episodes and then record one video where you just put them in front of like one of those big rollers for the street.
Yeah.
100%. And then they're gonna zoom in and you're gonna pull out your phone and go to the YouTube page and just go delete.
Yeah. That's it.
You're like a Judge Doom over here. Like
buy RageSelect and then therefore own you and then force you to do TikTok dances for.
Did you buy RageSelect? I bought RageSelect so I could dismantle it.
Is that not a normal thing to want to do?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. Like, don't ask me what normal is. I've been doing this for a decade.
Been a part of this for too long.
I had to redo my resume one time. You should see what it looks like. You know, the normal bullshit that people have to do on their resume to be like, ran and operated an independent media,
You're like, made dick and fart jokes on the internet.
Financial, was in charge of all the financial decisions for, mid-sized corporation.
Mid-sized corporation.
Speaking of mid-sized corporations, let's see. I think we got time for one more story here. Last week, a whole bunch of documents from Sega showed up. These are really, really, really interesting.
What kind of documents?
They're all internal. They're all internal documents, and they're on this SegaRetro.org site.
Ooh.
And they're things. This is like booth setup for an E3. But what's really kind of interesting, there's some financials in here. There's a bunch of memos and stuff. The most interesting part is that if you look through some of these memos, you will be able to read internally you will be able to witness the saga of the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation come out at the same time. Sega jumps ahead in the very beginning because they have Virtua Fighter and they've got some like stuff that Sony doesn't have a good launch lineup.
Yeah.
And Sega's like, man, look at these. Because you remember like Sony at that time, they were like, Microsoft was, oh God, like what, 10, 15, 20 years ago or whenever, whenever they put out the Xbox, Sony was just trying to buy their way to the market because they were trying to make, the PlayStation was originally for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo canceled the project. Sony went off to do their own thing. And so they kind of came in a little like wobbly born horse.
Yeah, they were not off to a great start in the very beginning. Yeah.
And so but they undercut the Saturn, and so you can watch through these series of documents as like they launch, and Sega's like, look at all this good stuff that we're doing. We're doing so much good stuff.
If Sony didn't undercut them, do you think, in your professional opinion, Sega would be making consoles to this day? Do you think it'd be a Sega versus Xbox conversation?
It wasn't the price, because eventually Sega cut the Saturn to below the PlayStation. It was like everything
right, but
else.
Isn't that like a desperate move?
Yes.
So like, well, I mean undercut, not in price, but just like coming out around the same time, being a competitive, like when it's launched simultaneously, it just really fucks your market.
The thing is that PlayStation was a full-on whore for third-party development. They were just like, come one, come all. Anybody can put whatever they fucking want on this thing.
Yeah.
And that was what killed Sega, because Sega was used to being choosy. Mm-hmm. Also, Sega's marketing strategy was very much like, I think they were kind of coming from like the Nintendo versus Sega time, where they made a lot of attack ads where they were like attacking Sony.
Yeah.
And meanwhile,
it's one thing to do attack ads against Nintendo, and it's another to like bully the new kid.
Well, then the thing, I think that I need to go back and look at this, but just from reading a lot of these memos, I didn't read all of them. I just read some of the highlights. But I think that there's a turning point, and the turning point is Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII comes out on the PlayStation, and everybody wants, like, it's the biggest fucking game in the world.
Yeah.
We've never seen hype like that. Non-video game people are getting into it. Everybody's getting into it, and Sega just doesn't have...
Yeah, they don't have a leg to stand on.
They don't have anything.
Yeah.
So they go, they go on to the Dreamcast, right? But then...
Which was my personal favorite, but that's
the
just
PlayStation
me.
2 just...
Yeah.
Oof,
I mean...
right in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, so it's an interesting read, though. There's like a lot of interesting stuff.
If you wait long enough, they'll probably make some sort of weirdly melodramatic movie about it.
I'm like, look at this.
What the fuck?
This is
because
Quaker Oats instant Kids Choice.
Because it's a Sonic the Hedgehog thing.
Yep. Play your best Sonic game tips inside these Quaker Oats. Look inside the oatmeal, kids, for Sonic Watch. Get a free watch,
dude. I want that Quaker Oats Sonic the Hedgehog watch.
Do you remember those instant oatmeal packets and shit? My parents made me eat that shit all the time.
I don't like oatmeal, but I did cream of wheat all the time. I'll still do I'll fuck up a bowl of cream of wheat.
There was no question in the Jeffrey RageSelect household about what I wanted to eat. I was presented with the food that I would be consuming that day.
I guess I just was never presented with oatmeal.
Raisins and spice?
I think cream of wheat is what people ate in like the Great Depression. The way I ate as a kid, it's very much like clear my grandparents were a part of it because of the things. It's just very funny to me.
I think the thing is that with these, did you have these little where they came in little packs? Like so this Quaker instant oatmeal, it come in a little pack, and you just had to like boil a cup of water.
Yeah, it's like a little
and just stir it up and boom,
a little
you're done.
Like pocket of powdered garbage. Yeah,
it was good. It was like a cereal alternative, right? You could do that when you got sick of eating cereal or we were out of cereal.
And it's warm and it's hot. So on a cold day, you can have hot oats. I don't eat oats though, so cream of wheat.
All right,
do cream of wheat, and you do of jam in it.
Yeah,
fuck, that shit's so good. I gotta get some cream of wheat.
All right, with that, we're gonna take a break.
I gotta go get cream of wheat.
The man's gonna go get some cream of wheat. We'll be back in a minute with some more news. Man's gonna get some cream of wheat. We're back. Be right back.
Here we are.
We are back. And Amanda, it's time to go to court.
Oh, God. You finally suing me for all of the things?
All of the things.
Allegedly.
Your Honor, this This person,
she keeps bullying me, and I don't like it.
I make her come over here and do unpaid work on my channel, and she keeps saying slightly mean stuff about me. I deserve
when we were
money.
on the Discord and Jeff was streaming, John and I literally went on together and just started bullying him, and then we left like right away.
It wasn't a public stream. It was just like a little private.
It was just
like
funny
8 people from the Discord.
We just went on and were mean, and then we left.
Yeah. Yep, it was great. No, Apple and Epic are heading to the Supreme Court.
Taco Supreme Court.
Taco Supreme Court, yep. So Apple and Epic got into a kerfuffle over Epic being... Epic did an end run around Apple to let people buy V-Bucks for Fortnite without going through the Apple Store and giving Apple 30%.
Okay.
The Apple blocked Fortnite from being on iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
They went to court. The court decision mostly was in favor of Apple, but what they did say was that you don't actually have like a right to process all, like you have to give people another way to get money into your. If I buy a phone, I got to be able to use my credit card without having to go through Apple, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is that so then Apple kind of came back and they said, we find it weird that because you've ruled that this should be available for Epic, that it should now be available for every app, not just Epic's apps.
Did the judge accidentally fuck over Apple?
Sort of.
Because I'm for it.
But Apple should be fucked over because fuck them. That's some horseshit right there.
Yeah.
And then they went to appeals court, and the appeals court maintained the same ruling, and so now they're going to the Supreme Court. Epic has put out basically a statement saying, like, so what Apple is saying is that, like, if you want to use a payment processing system that is not Apple's, you have to file a suit against Apple. Anyone who's on the App Store who wants to use a different payment method has to now go into litigation individually, one at a time, with Apple. That's not how these sorts of judgments work.
Yeah.
Now, I have absolutely no idea what the current Supreme Court would do with this because
God knows
it's like two big businesses.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I think it would be a really good thing.
Can they suck off both at the same time?
It's a good question. It would be a good question. Yeah. So
have you ever seen a Supreme Court Eiffel Tower? Because we're about to.
Ooh. Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I really do hope that Apple gets smacked down because it's just 30%, man.
30% is crazy.
That's
like
bullshit.
you were like 5%, maybe 10%. I'd be like, okay, but 30%?
Yeah. Like so many of these deals got set up when the internet was like, when some of these technologies were in their infancy, and it's just like, nah, man, somebody needs to come in and knock this shit over.
Yeah. I remember when the internet was the Wild West, and then corporations came in and made it fucking suck.
Yeah. Take that, you
Although,
guys.
having said that, I witnessed a lot of things I shouldn't have as a child, so maybe the internet needed some rules and regulations. You know.
So you saw a Little Shop of Horrors way too young. And now you're like...
now I'm like, do I want to go to the dentist or do I really want to go to the dentist?
Let's see. Here we have, from there, we're going to go over to AI. Mm-hmm. So Steam has put out a rather large statement where somebody was trying to basically put a game on Steam that had a bunch of AI assets in it, and Steam declined. And they put out kind of a position statement saying that, their position is actually not one of any kind of like ethics. It's one of legality, where they say if your assets were, if you have to be able to prove that the assets that you generated were generated without using any already copyrighted material.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could get into a thing where if there's an asset that was generated that has an identifiable piece of art that was
like when it has like somebody's signature just fucking snuck in there or whatever. Yeah, that's logical.
Yeah, I mean it is. And it's funny because I think that like of course, this is the tack that Steam takes because Steam doesn't care what you put on their service, but they don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
Like Valve does not like being sued.
Also,
so.
like if you're a pro AI person, you should be happy that things like these conversations are happening, because then it becomes not about like a morality thing and more about the logistics of using it and what it means. Like,
yes.
well, if you're going to use AI, you're going to have to be able to prove that it's 100% original.
Yeah.
And that's a much better conversation, because when you start turning it into a morality thing, it becomes a fucking
subjective.
heated, it becomes this heated debate where nothing gets done. But
right.
if we're like accepting this as an inevitable, then these are the conversations that need to happen for them to happen in a ethical way.
Right. And it's interesting because some corporations have already done this. Adobe has their thing called Firefly that actually sucks. It's not as good as like Midjourney or the rest of them.
Yeah.
But one of the things about it is that like it's literally sourced out of their catalog. So it's not.
Doesn't Photoshop do the same thing?
It's the same tool, just built into Photoshop.
Okay.
Photoshop has a photo. It's kind of hard to explain. Photoshop does have original Photoshop has a thing called content aware fill, where it'll look at the image that you're using, and if you say fill in, I use it all the time, where I'll get an image that has like a game logo baked into the background, and so you just select the game logo and you say content aware fill, and it'll look around that logo and try to like interpolate what would be behind that to fill it in. But they do have a full on AI solution. It kind of, I get really, it's really irritating to me sometimes that there isn't a way to like, to resolve this shit, because like Midjourney just created this new thing where you can like zoom out. Like, so I don't know if you've seen it, where if you create something in Midjourney, you can just keep zooming out
and it'll just build around the
picture.
picture.
It just keeps building around what it has. Yeah.
I've seen that, and I've seen my favorite thing right now is people will generate an image and then I think it's also Midjourney describe the image.
Yes.
And then they'll feed the description back into it, and then they'll just go down a rabbit hole of what it turns into. And sometimes it'll stay on theme, but it'll get like more detailed or add something else. And then sometimes it just becomes something totally different.
Yeah, I wish that the thing is that it's weird because Midjourney, I think right now is like one of the better generation tools, but it's not like, the whole interface for Midjourney is through fucking Discord.
Yeah.
Like I need that's why I've been trying to use, or I've been experimenting with the Adobe Firefly, because it's like, I need like a tool for adults, not for like idiots that are like, I don't want Discord.
Yeah.
Fuck Discord. I have to send a chat to a bot that gives me back stuff. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Write a front end for your goddamn like software. I don't want to, like put a toolbar and a save and a new document and like, the grown up shit.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to do it through Discord still. Like when it started, it kind of made sense, but now we're a little further past it that it's weird that it's there.
So but it's interesting, I think. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I had another AI news story. This will show you what kind of slow news story this is this week. There's a weird controversy happening in the Skyrim modding community. So what is happening in the Skyrim modding community is that, okay, so for a long time, people have been doing Skyrim mods where it's a sex mod, right? Like, or they'll take a character, like, let me see if I can find the one that was being used in this one. Yeah, it's called Valerica, Lust of a Mother.
Wow, you just went out and Googled that, huh?
I have before, so god damn it, I already logged into you before. And so the funny thing is that if you search for this character, and we're gonna get there, we're getting to the AI stuff, but it's gonna take a second. So here is Valerica in Skyrim.
Okay, fully clothed.
Yes,
fully neck
I think
to
she's like a
feet, like
vampire. I think, and then here is this mod. Where
she's like Vampira style.
She's turned into Vampirella.
That's it.
And she's like it's got like just like a washcloth and a belt like tied to her chest, and all this weird peacock shit coming off
there's
the
like
back
a
of her.
fan. She looks like a Mortal Kombat character, honestly.
She does. She looks like she's Melina's aunt or something. Like,
there's a lot going on, Valerica.
but one of the things that's been happening in this is that they'll have these new voice lines that are added. And the thing is that these voice lines are being generated by AI voice generation of taking the original dialogue from these characters and then using them to train the voice mod so that you can generate new, like, why don't you have sex with me right now lines.
So they're sort of forcing the voice actress to be doing stuff she didn't want to do.
Right. So yeah, it's an interesting ethical quandary, right?
Yeah.
Of like, well, that person didn't say that.
They didn't get paid to say that.
But then also,
and they also didn't consent to saying that.
Right. But then also there's a whole modding community of like, mods already are doing like really off the wall stuff, but I guess they're doing them to like fictional characters as opposed to like taking somebody's actual voice. That is, I guess it's like, it's interesting to think about this because it's so much different than Midjourney, right? Where Midjourney is like, okay, I'm generating a visual thing based on somebody else's visual work, whereas this is like, I'm taking the performance of somebody that did a character voice and then I'm generating new dialogue via that.
Yeah.
Like, does the voice actor that was paid and signed a release to let their voice be used, like, they don't own that voice. I don't think that a lot of those people are getting, they might be getting some residuals, but I'm sure that they don't legally own, like, the actor can't just say, hey, Bethesda, take my voice out of Skyrim. Like, that they probably signed some ironclad contracts to like put their voice in there. So then is it like, well, does it come down to whether Bethesda has a problem with this? But then it's still that person's voice. Do they have like, but then they didn't sign an agreement to let their voice probably be used like in perpetuity for whatever they wanted. But then also the modders aren't like charging for it. So is this one of those like, it sucks and it's bad and we should all point our fingers and go, you're bad person.
Yeah, but there's not really a leg to stand on as far as any sort of taking it down or recourse.
But is there a legal way to do that?
I don't know. It starts leaning into kind of skeevy territory.
Definitely.
Because you're starting to get into like deepfakes are already an issue.
Yep.
Like real life deep fakes are already an issue, and that's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like if
we're talking about a performance in a game, I don't know. I guess it depends on how far the game takes it.
Yeah,
because if they just turned her into like a sexier character, that's not like the craziest thing in the world. But if they're like AI generating somewhat her actual person's voice to say things within the act, it's just creepy.
But then I wonder though, right? Could you get away with it by then, like legally speaking, not morally speaking? Because I think morally it's just like, well, that sucks, and it kind of sucks that you did that. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to stop the horny on the internet, but but then like legally speaking, like let's say I do an impression of Christopher Walken. Let's say I do Christopher Walken. Everybody does Christopher Walken, right?
Yeah.
And I say a bunch of lewd Christopher Walken stuff, and then put it in a game where a character has Christopher Walken's voice, right? And then I take it and I add more to that character where I'm like, fuck me hard, or whatever. Like, can I say, well, that's parody?
Yeah,
right. That's a parody. Like I'm not Christopher Walken. That is a parody,
right?
So that's protected under First Amendment speech.
I mean, even if you're like pitch perfect, as long as it's not him, you taking his voice, and changing it, wouldn't that the difference be that?
I mean, I guess would it like? I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know either. Like, that's the
legally
question.
Complicated.
I guess is just like, would it be?
If I make up the mod and then I put a thing on the mod that says this mod is parody and not for redistribution, right? Like, generally speaking, traditionally at least, we do a lot of like parody is protected under the First Amendment. Like, I don't know. It's but up until now, it's been a lot harder to generate something that sounds exactly like somebody's voice.
Yeah.
And now there's just like a website that you can use to do it. So
yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah, that's a really interesting conversation to have.
Yeah,
we should have it someday.
I think somebody who knows like somebody who knows copyright law should probably have it. I was like, I don't know.
You know, I don't.
Doesn't seem like. I mean, like if you took down all the Skyrim porno mods, I'd be like, oh no. Whatever will I do? Wherever will I find smut online now?
Oh man!
Oh,
don't have to look for different smut.
So it's when it goes back to like the Call of Duty thing, where I'm just like, I don't engage with this. I don't care. Like, take it down, leave it up. I'm on the side. So actually, one of the things that's interesting is that mod has now removed. They took it down it got banned off of Nexus mods, and then the mod maker took out all the voice stuff and then re-uploaded it. And so that's where they are right now. But it's something interesting to consider, especially moving forward. The
funny thing is, it probably didn't even sound that good.
Oh, probably not.
Because know, like it sounds weirdly robotic when they talk, when the AI stuff talks. So it's like, oh yeah, baby, and it's just like, oh fuck, I'm really gonna miss this when they take it away.
It sounds like 1.5 steps removed from when you just take a clip of somebody's voice and rearrange it into other words.
It's just a little better than that, yeah.
So, speaking of Bethesda, we changing gears completely. Bethesda and Xbox are both going to be at Gamescom 2023 this August. So we got confirmation of that. We don't know what they're going to be showing. Hopefully more Starfield. That's how slow a news week it is. That's the whole story.
Yeah,
There's nothing else
the news
say.
is they will have news probably at some point later on.
In August.
At the end of summer.
Yes.
We are in the beginning of summer.
Final Fantasy 14 is an MMO. I don't know if you know this, Amanda, but there was a whole thing. People love like the Final Fantasy 14 grapes. Were
Why?
Like these, because they were these weird gem-shaped blocks with grape texture over them.
Oh.
And they were really bad looking.
Yeah.
And so everybody was like, oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Well, one of the things that has now been confirmed is that there's Final Fantasy 14 fan festival happening in Las Vegas, and if you buy a ticket, you get like a little bag full of goodie stuff. And one of the things that you get is a little plush that is the bad.
That's very funny.
The bad grapes, a little squishy plushie that is just the big
fucking stress ball of grapes. That's amazing.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I get it now that I see it.
Yeah.
I would also think that's hilarious.
Yep. There's a whole story where like the guy that when he went into Final Fantasy 16 to make sure that the grapes were okay because he was like the writer for the game. So let's see. Speaking of Microsoft, Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming back to Game Pass this July. So it was on there. It got taken off. It is coming back.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
Okay. Well, hold on. Hold on.
Listen, bitch.
Hold on. I took this into consideration because we got the whole list of things that are coming to Game Pass this month.
Okay.
And so we've got Grand Theft Auto, we've got Exoprimal, and on July 18th, The Cave is coming back to
nice.
Game
I haven't
Pass,
played that in a hot minute.
Yeah, 10 years old.
Me and my best friend, Ron Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't remember The Cave ever being on the Xbox One. I mean, I'm sure you could buy it backwards compatible, right?
Probably,
it's on the store,
I mean,
also,
it's a double fine game. Beep, beep.
You remember when we played Sword and Fairy Together Forever? Where it was like a weird Chinese like third-person action game.
Yeah.
And it surprised both of us. We're like, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like this.
Yeah.
So that's coming on there on July 6th.
Oh, that's fun.
Go check it out. Everything else is
also be confused and pleasantly surprised at it being an enjoyable game.
Yeah. Let's see. Call of Duty is doing some interesting stuff in their latest blog. I don't know if you know how much Call of Duty fucks with cheaters.
I've been here when we've talked about other things they've done. I can't fucking remember what one of them was, but I do remember it was mildly trollish.
One of them was, I believe, that they just made their bullets not work.
Oh, yeah, you can shoot as much as you want and it just won't hit anything. Stormtrooper bullets, if you will, yeah.
And another one was it just made other players invisible. So you
It's
just
like
couldn't see
fucking
them.
playing a game with John Cena, man.
Yep.
Just fucking can't see him.
They got a new one, and this one just creates ghost characters that are. It's funny because they're not AI characters, they're not like what they are is they're like copies of people that are elsewhere in the map.
So it's like little mirrors or shadow.
Yeah. So when they move around, they look like an actual character.
Yeah.
But they're on.
You're fucking hallucinating while playing the game.
Well, on the cheater's console, they are technically there.
Yeah.
But they're they're invincible. So apparently they're using this to check to see if people are cheating, because you could literally drop one of these down, and then if you see somebody just unloading into nothing in the middle of nowhere, or apparently because they're character models, if you're using like a wall hack cheat, you'll see something through the wall and go try to kill it, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy is fucking 100% cheating. So
that's funny.
I have to say I am very much in favor of I want you guys. I don't want cheaters banned. I want cheaters fucked with.
Yeah.
I want you to make them so mad.
Are they and there's still people fucking doing it?
Hell yeah.
I'm like,
there was a I saw one where it was oh my God. It was I was like, you guys, I don't understand you people. So you plug a thing in between your controller and the television, and that little thing runs out to a webcam that looks at your television, and then a piece of software is run where when you aim at a person, the webcam will see if your bullet is going to hit and then tweak your input to move your crosshair and over the person to make sure that you get the headshot that you want.
Yeah.
And this is very difficult to combat because none of it is cheating.
Yeah, it's all external.
It's external,
stuff.
but it's still what psychopath would go to these?
Why? Yeah, I don't understand, because I don't know. It just doesn't. Does it feel like winning to you when you do that?
Michael and I think one day went down the thing and we went to one of the websites that sells these.
Yeah.
And they're 4-day passes of cheats. They're not even you just buy a cheat. They're it's a subscription that you have to keep re-upping in order to keep cheating at Call of Duty.
I don't understand. If you cheat on Call of Duty, comment below. Explain yourself.
I don't think,
because I don't understand. Why? Do you feel like you're winning? Does it feel like you're playing a game?
Yes.
Because you're not. Because it's not. I don't it just doesn't make sense to me. Does it not just feel like you're running a marathon and then you just stand at the starting line and then run in your car and go to the other end and then go, I did it? Do you understand that that's not the feeling of achievement?
I mean, do you chase people around Twitter to call them fat for hours and days on end?
Yeah, all the time. And the accomplished feeling I have.
I wish I get an AI to do it for me. No, I the thing is that I think that there's I think you and I come from a different generation where it's I don't know. I don't I get exactly what you're saying. If you just snapped your fingers and got the result that you wanted, it would feel hollow in a lot of ways to me, because it's well, the whole point was to get good at the thing, to then be look how good I am that I did the thing, right?
Yeah.
Me drawing on a piece of paper and generating something on Midjourney are two entirely different feelings.
And not even that though, but enjoying doing the thing.
I don't. Yeah.
But are you enjoying it because you're barely playing it?
Some people, it's just the winning. If you didn't win, then that was it.
But you're not winning. You're cheating. It's not winning. You're not winning.
I mean, let's go back a minute. I've turned. When I was younger, I turned on cheat codes in video games. Right.
Yeah.
I give myself invincibility.
Right, but those are not against other people.
But I don't think that the people that do this see other people as other people.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually probably the most fair thing I've heard.
In fact, they probably get their jollies even harder because they know that they're making somebody mad who is just trying to have a good time and is getting their time ruined by this. So I don't know, man. That's part of the internet.
Why are people the way they are?
There's a good 45 to 65% of the internet that I just don't understand. Where I'm just I don't know. You guys can go over there. You do whatever.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't care.
Why?
Let's see. Payday 3 had some footage leaked. This is the bank robbery game that's getting ready to come out. I'm going to save y'all a lot of time. You don't have to look it up on the internet. It looks an awful lot like Payday 2.
Yeah.
You're robbing a bank. You're shooting at the cops. You're trying to get the money. I watched about 7 minutes of it and went, yep, that's a Payday game, all right. Like, there's probably some differences here that maybe...
like a well-versed Payday fan.
Yeah, hardcore Payday heads would know, but I've never been the biggest... I've never wanted to play Heat, the game, so badly that I actually wanted to engage with this. I mean, it looks fine. Like, it looks good. Like, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't look like bad or anything, but...
Yeah, it just looks more of the same. If you wanted another Payday game, good news, it's another Payday game.
Yeah, so you can go check it out. Find it on Reddit, whatever. Let's see. We got some Overwatch stuff.
Ooh.
Overwatch 2. Oops, I skipped over something. So Overwatch 2 recently got some kind of like single player content, some like kind of PvE stuff. Apparently, you better enjoy it because you're not getting any more PvE stuff until 2024.
Oh. I mean, in fairness, if you guys blink twice, we'll be in 2024.
That's true. On the other hand, they canceled the whole single player Overwatch
campaign,
2 thing. What I don't understand, this is what I didn't understand when I read the story. Does Overwatch make money or not? Because if it makes money, I feel like you guys need to double your team size because you're always complaining about how you don't have enough people to do everything that you want to do. And it's like, you work for Blizzard and you make Overwatch. Like, if Overwatch isn't profitable, you shouldn't be stringing it along with a B tier team that's like only 40% funded and like staffed, right? You should just like double that team and start putting out all the shit that everybody wants so that we're all once again like, huzzah, Overwatch, I love it. They put out so many PvE maps now and I love playing them. I get on every week and I play them.
Yeah.
Because every time they talk about it, it just feels like it's like I'm listening to an interview from some indie game studio with like 8 people that work there.
Yeah. It's just so weird. It feels like a stark contrast to the first Overwatch game.
To Blizzard, all of Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like, Blizzard just seems like I don't know what the fuck's going on with them. Also, Blizzard or Overwatch is getting some prequel anime. Well, they say anime. Okay. Sorry. Did you watch Invincible? Remember the Amazon Invincible show?
I watched an episode or two. John watched the whole thing, and I just kind of like was there.
You know how the art style of Invincible, how it's kind of like it was kind of like the DC animated stuff art style, like Castlevania kind of has a similar art style.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sick of it. Everything that's Western produced looks exactly like
the
this.
Same. Yeah.
So they put out the first part of this Genesis part 1 Dawn, which are these Overwatch quote unquote anime. I do not think this looks like fucking anime. I think it looks like Invincible, which is not anime. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's so weird to think that everything animated in the West looks like this. Like there was a show on, it was like AMC called some kind of AI, not AI, some kind of consciousness thing. Anyway, that had the same art style. I'll save you guys 5 minutes. This is boring. It's talking about the history of the Omnics, and I don't know if that's why you came to Overwatch, but it's not why I came to Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, it's talking about how, like, the AI the revolution happened, and then we started combining that with robotics, and then there was this lady, and then they made the Omnics, and they did everything.
But Overwatch had all those little shorts of animation, and they were so cute and fun.
Yep.
And even when they were like dark, they were like really enjoyable to watch. And this is
this is what you get. Well, because you can outsource this, and those other ones cost a lot of money for Blur to make.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But like, all right.
And then this lady made like a really good robot, and then she weeps, and the robot like puts its hand out and takes a tear from her eye, and then it's over. And I guess there'll be more later on.
And then he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." Yeah. That's more ominous than endearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess
This looks like it could have been a part of the Matrix animated
Animatrix.
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it totally could be. It's fine. It's just, again, it's what it is used to be that when you got the old Overwatch shorts, you got a real hit of like, wow, that was great.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you're like, that was fine. That was acceptable. I mean, I didn't pay for it. It was 5 minutes. It was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's see. Let's go through some really disappointing trailers, Amanda.
Okay. I'm all about disappointment.
Fortnite has the official Summer Escape event is starting July 4th through the 18th. Mm-hmm. This is one of those like...
So it's happening now.
Yes. The Fortnite just like kind of fucking around and having a good time summer event stuff. You know what? Say what you will about Fortnite. You may like it, you may not like it, but like they have a big team that puts a lot of work into this thing constantly to keep adding little cute stuff.
Fucking
Meowscles in a Hawaiian shirt.
I'm a big fan of the Banana Man. I don't know his name, but I just like sometimes he has a pill and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah. It's got the little fire dancer guys. Yeah. Some fireworks. Just like it looks cool. Looks like a fun chill time.
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's nice to just be like, you know what it is? Fun.
Yep.
What a concept.
Let's see. We got
my God.
We got yet another Nicolas Cage Dead by Daylight trailer.
So people have released the just the audio tracks of him. Oh my God. They're so fucking funny.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Like they were like, just Nicolas Cage it up, and he just goes, and it's hilarious.
He was on the show. He was on the Summer Games Fest. He did the Keanu Reeves, except that he just maintained really hard eye contact with Jeff Keighley the whole time,
which is even funnier. I just want Nicolas Cage to harass Jeff Keighley because it's funny.
So this is a much longer thing where there's a bunch of survivors that are getting menaced and they're about to die, and then Nicolas Cage shows up. It's all a little pre-rendered thing. Yeah. He's got a little monologue and voiceover.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I think it's funny. I think people forget that Nicolas Cage is actually a good actor, and it starts leaning into, I just want him to play the persona that we picture him as. Uh-huh. Because this isn't really what he's like.
Sure.
But people think so. The same way with like Jeff Goldblum. I hope people understand that that's a character he's playing for media to enjoy. But I do really enjoy this this version of Nicolas Cage. It's very funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, oh my God. It's like he sings in it.
I didn't know that.
So I have not seen the trailers. I've only heard people post the audio from the game of him where he's just like, oh fuck, this hurts. Oh fuck. Oh, it hurts. And then like he sings whatever the song is. That like if the bad guy's coming near you or whatever, and he'll start singing, and I'll just be like, "No, just stop!" And it's very funny to hear him. Fucking just
maybe
go out.
Maybe it's better than I thought.
It's very like fourth wall breaky.
Okay,
it seems.
Because the main problem that I had was when they showed the actual footage of his model in the game, his face isn't moving at all. Like he doesn't have any expressions, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't think I even saw his. Oh, you know what? I know what one of his special abilities is.
What's that?
I think it's called plot twist or something. He fakes being dead, and then the killer can't. He doesn't make noise. Where like if you like just crouch and lay low, they can still hear you or like find you.
Okay,
and his will play dead, so it'll look like there's just a corpse on the floor.
Fair enough.
Which I think is very funny as an actor. It makes sense.
Sure.
Love it.
We got a gameplay trailer for Rashid for Street Fighter 6, the first DLC character for Street Fighter. He looks really fun. Rashid's always been a really fun character.
I don't know if I remember Rashid.
He was in 5. I think he was introduced in 5, where he's like a kind of a chic.
Yeah.
And he's got like wind powers, and he's a very kind of like media savvy, play to the camera kind of guy.
Okay,
so
that's fun.
He's very, very fun. And yeah, this looks pretty good. I mean, I don't really play Street Fighter 6 all that much, so couldn't tell you for sure, but he looks like he would be very fun to play.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
We got a Persona 3. This is part of that anime thing. A Persona 3, the Persona 3 remake. Unfortunately, this isn't going to do anything for Amanda, but it's got an English voice cast trailer that shows a bunch of the people that are doing the
nice
voice cast. So, yeah.
Fuck yeah, I can hear him talking English. Are any of them voiced by Nicolas Cage?
Nope, no Nicolas Cage
So
at all.
what's the point, Jeff?
What is even the point? Why am I even showing you this? The thing is that I don't even know why I'm showing you this because I don't know voice actors. So
yeah, so you're like, I don't know. Probably would.
People in the Discord seemed like they were pretty excited about it.
Nice.
Yep.
No, like that's cool. I didn't know. Have they not done voice acting, American voice acting for it before, or
no? They
just
have,
because this is an older one and they're
I think they're redoing it.
So
for I don't know. There might have been something with one of the previous voice actors, but it's one of those things that I don't really get into. There's some rationale to why they're doing it.
Makes sense to me.
Flashback 2, a game that I'm going to just relentlessly shit on until it comes out. Put out a trailer showing that they're bringing back the jungle level from the first Flashback, and it looks like dog shit, and I hate it. And
is this the game that you talked about how like cool the movements looked in the original?
Yep.
Yeah.
How it looked really cool in the original, and how this looks like a generic piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad that Microids has decided to cash in on something, even though it shouldn't make me sad because they did a remake of it before, a remake of the first one that was bad, and it already had a bad sequel back in like 1998 or something like that. So
there you go. So really, more often than not, it's bad.
Yep. But I don't care. I'm still going to say how bad it looks, and I don't like it.
I want you all to know.
Yep. Also, strangely enough, PixelJunk Eden 2 was announced, and it looks like garbage as well. So I know that most people probably don't remember this because the PixelJunk stuff was so long ago, but PixelJunk Eden was this one where you play as a little character that would spin around and then like fly out.
Yeah.
And it had all these like crazy colors and stuff. I think Allison and I played it.
Wow, way back when.
Yeah. And this one is much less colorful. It looks really like kind of
That's
dull.
Less colorful?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's less colorful.
In comparison to what it looked like originally. Like it had a lot more, like, I think it just had
it
a
was
better
just like
color palette.
vibrant, and this is kind of a little more of a muted color.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of color, they're just not popping off the screen.
Plus, I just don't know if like the first one was a very, like, it was kind of in one of the early, it was in the early kind of indie game days.
Yeah.
I can't even find the
They're
first
like,
one.
we're not going to show it to you. We know what you're doing.
Oh, here's the first one. Is this the first one? Oh, maybe it
that
looked
looks
about
the
the
same
same. Okay, maybe I'm.
Wow, you lied.
Yeah, maybe so. I guess the first one was looked just like this one. I might be thinking of a different game. I might be thinking of a different PixelJunk game, or a different game entirely. I am thinking of a different game entirely.
Jeff
I don't know
Mandela
which one it
affected
is.
himself.
It wasn't this one. It wasn't this one. It was a different one.
In fact, now the second one looks good.
It was the one where you have like a little snake that had like primary colors, and then you would like gather up little friend snakes, and you would like run through these weird son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're going to Google snakes and game, and you're going to just get the
I think it was a PixelJunk. Let's see if I can find
PixelJunk Snake a Snake.
Nope, it's not. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is
fine.
anymore.
The rest of us also don't know what you're talking
I'm not
about.
going to worry about it. Pikmin 4 got a little teaser.
Hell yeah, Dad!
It was pretty fun.
I've been playing the demo.
Oh, for Pikmin 4?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hell yeah, I made a little me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I made my character, but it just looks like me.
I liked when this bird eats the one blue guy and he gets all
like,
scared. He's like, yeah. I just hope that there is some kind of mod that I can do to this game to put a nose on that dog, because he freaks me out with his no-nose dog.
It is weird. It's hard to look at. I don't like the dog so much. But I love any animal like crazy, so I will love it.
Okay.
And every single one of my Pikmin, and it'll hurt my feelings if any of them die.
Let's see. PowerWash Simulator came out this week. In case you didn't know, with the SpongeBob SquarePants DLC.
Yeah.
This is the first paid DLC for PowerWash Simulator. All the previous ones have been free. The Lara Croft one and the Final Fantasy one were free. This one is like $7 or something like that.
Huh.
I played a chunk of it. It is PowerWash Simulator in the SpongeBob SquarePants universe.
That's all you get.
I don't even like I don't know anything about SpongeBob. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
But I do like cleaning stuff with the PowerWash gun.
Yeah.
Also, I like the fact they turn the players into like the little fish guys.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah.
The like doing just like other games or other like properties. That's such a good idea.
Yep. There is one level. I haven't played all of it, but there is one level. I don't know what this is from SpongeBob SquarePants, but it's this car and it's dirty and it's an invisible car. So when you clean it turns invisible.
It's their version of like Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
They drive an invisible car.
Okay.
Or like an invisible boat.
That was a very interesting and challenging stage.
Yeah,
because the more you clean it, the harder it is to see what's left.
So smart. That's very fun.
Yeah. So yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants done.
They should do one in the Justice League Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman's there trying to prevent you from cleaning anything so that you can't find anything.
Well, it's funny because they actually put out a roadmap for this year because Q4 is the Warhammer 40K one, which I cannot wait for.
I bet.
The Muckingham Files is getting free content in Q3.
Huh?
That's like the Muckingham Files is where the Tomb Raider and the Final Fantasy things fell into.
Oh,
Those were that. And then there's going to be another paid DLC. And there's more seasonal content. I just really like the idea that it's like these guys are like,
if you guys want a power wash, we'll give you places to power wash.
Like, what would you like? Hey, can we have your game to power wash? And they're like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Here you go power wash. And they're like, cool, let's make it gross. And then they'll power wash it.
Yeah, we just grime it up and then clean it up.
Yep.
What game or property would you want?
Oh, that's a hard question. I was just trying to think about what I would want directly.
Yeah.
I was going to say my go-to answer is always like thinking of my favorite games and then being like that. Okay, never mind. Yep, there it is. Dark Souls or like Elden Ring, like one of those.
Yeah, power wash souls.
Like a boss arena that's all covered in like blood and guts and
oh my god, like the aftermath of a battle and you're just there to clean it up. That's
or like what if it was
fun.
like the Lake of Rot in Elden Ring and then you had to like get rid of or Melania's like boss stage and you have to clean off the Halig tree. Like
that's so funny.
Yeah.
That would be great.
The first thing that came to my mind was Hitman, but I was like, Hitman doesn't need anything cleaned up.
Because like
Agent 47 has got it all.
He's
well
a
taken care
very
of.
clean. That'd be funny though. It just seems like kind of a normal clean map, but every time you like open stuff, you keep finding bodies.
You have to hose it down, hose the blood off.
You're just helping him a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. What about you? You got anything?
Oh, I don't. You know what would be kind of fun? This is going to be a little on the nose for me. It's not a video game, but it'd be kind of fun to do like the Muppet Theater.
Sure.
To just like walk through and just clean up the Muppet Theater.
It's kind of insane how satisfying of a game mechanic it is. To like you walk into here's a dirty motorcycle and then you clean it up and you're like, I cleaned the motorcycle.
It's so satisfying that I've never played the game and I have watched people play the game and I'll put it on and like do other things and it's like kind of soothing to have.
Yep.
It's enjoyable.
Agreed. Let's see. Friday the 13th is unlocking everything. At this point,
that's, good.
Yep. Friday the 13th is getting pulled from sale at the end of 2023, and then the servers are getting shut down. But at this point, they announced on Twitter, all players have been raised to level 150 and awarded 30 of the most popular legendary perks. No negative effects. Everything set to the best roll. Everything set to all the DLC.
Yeah, time to party until it goes down.
Yep. The question becomes whether, like, sometimes when you do that, it's like, well, everything's unlocked, so what's even the point in playing? And sometimes when you do that, it's like everybody has a super fucking good time for a little while, and they're like,
I think it's worth the risk because, you know, what's going to happen? they're going to take down the game anyway. So, the risk is enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you find it too easy, then you'll be able to go to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game when that comes out, and if you love it, then you can go to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game when it comes out. So
do that.
Yep. Hi-Fi Rush got a bunch of the stuff that they were adding this week.
Oh, nice.
So the 200 BPM mode, and then there's also like a kind of a roguelike. They randomize the powers that you get, and then the different kind of challenges as you go up the tower.
Okay.
So that's good to go.
I really like the way Hi-Fi Rush was.
I still need to go back and get into it one of these times when I'm in a lull.
We had fun playing it.
Yeah.
I remember us being like, it's just like a whatever kind of game, and then we were just like enamored by the everything about it.
Absolutely. We got a release date for Pokemon Concierge, which is the stop animated show in December. It's coming out in December, and they've got a little featurette on Netflix where the lady that plays the main character is talking about. It talks about her actually. They did like motion capture on her. They did like actual capture on her as opposed to just the voice line, so they could like match the facial expressions.
Yeah, so she's a reference, or what is it called? Like Disney used to do that with their animations, right? They would have people like act it out. Yeah,
but
not even that. But they would just have them acted out, and then they would just
yep, just
use it as a frame of reference. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The director is like has no emotions whatsoever and is not happy, is not sad, is just like it's like a fucking Terminator sent back from the future.
True neutral experience with him.
And there's not really much more here outside of them showing kind of little brief like
they kind of look like Leica stop animation characters, you know what I'm talking about, like Kubo and the two strings and stuff.
There is one point where she says like, oh, that's how you position them, and they show like I think like okay, never mind. That was at first I thought that was like a robot arm because I was watching this. I was like,
"Is it claw machines
where you could like make a robot do all the work for you?"
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Go to bed and come back. Yeah, so that's a thing. Ark Survival Ascended has been delayed to October. I'm not going to go into this too much. This is the one where they raised the price, or there was a remake of the original, but then when they put that remake out, they're shutting down the servers for the original, and then you have to buy the remake, but then you buy the remake for $50, and then they give you the sequel for free, but you have to buy it, and then, like now it's been delayed, and anyway, this whole thing is terrible, and this is the end of the podcast where my brain gets all foggy, so basically
brain didn't start foggy.
No, I had a coffee, but now I'm out of coffee. $45. It's been lowered from $45 or from $50 to $45, and on launch it'll be discounted further to $40. It still is cold comfort to those people who have to rebuy a game they've already purchased.
Yeah.
So
kind of looks like Dino Riders.
It's like it's a survival game like The Forest, except there's like dinosaurs, and then the sequel, there was a trailer for it a long time ago, has fucking Vin Diesel in it. Like Vin Diesel is your character in the second one.
Weird.
Like digitized Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Well, Vin Diesel isn't real.
Yeah.
He is permanently digitized.
Let's see. Yeah, speaking of things that are coming out later this year, Scorn is coming out on the PlayStation 5 this fall.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I know that you and I didn't care for it, but a lot of other people thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
so.
I have seen other people play, so I've seen a little deeper than where we got. Didn't really change.
Nope.
Didn't really change my opinion.
Nope.
If I'm being totally honest.
A little too abstract. Didn't understand. Well, this is a Game Informer article.
Yeah, am I too dumb to understand Scorn?
No. This Game Informer article says, despite appearing like a shooter on its surface, Scorn is an atmospheric, puzzle-focused experience. While combat is present, it's very much secondary to deciphering the abstract story and riddles. And even those revelations will primarily be up to your interpretation. Oh, I figured it out. Did you? Because nobody actually knows what it's about. So it's just, what did you think it was about?
It's not about anything.
Yep. And then last, before we get into some fun stuff, Ubisoft is apparently remaking Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Why?
So this is being done at Ubisoft Singapore. Ubisoft Singapore did the boat combat for 3, 4, and one other one.
Yeah.
They are also making Skull and Bones.
That game that isn't coming out, but is coming out, but isn't coming out.
I'm pretty sure that they're doing this because they can't shut down Ubisoft Singapore. They've been working on a naval combat game for like 8 years now. If they're just set to remake this, that's something that's relatively easy and doesn't require like people to make decisions. And they might actually be able to recoup some of the cost of running that studio by just like, here, remake this game.
Yeah.
It's not even that old. It's super easy. I bet everybody will fucking love it. You can use everything that you learned from Skull and Bones to make it even better. We just really need like a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X version that looks good, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
They're like, it took us 8 years to make this remake.
Well, part of that too, a lot of the behind the scenes is that like every 2 years a new director would come in and be like, scrap everything.
Yeah.
We're starting over. And then 2 years later he would get bored and leave, and then the new guy would come in and go, all right, we're starting over. So
yeah. Sounds exhausting.
The scuttlebutt is that the government gave them a tax break to open the studio, so they can't close it,
right?
Because they would then have to pay back. Like they probably made a deal to ship X number of games, and without doing that, they can't just close the studio.
Yeah,
which is why Skull and Bones has never actually been fully canceled. So
they should just release it. I feel like you got to cut your fucking losses on that shit.
It was supposed to come out this year, and then it finally got delayed back until next year. I think it was the last time I saw anything.
That.
Anyway, yeah.
They're like, anytime I hear Skull and Bones, I'm always just like, oh man, that is depressing.
Yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator did an update. It did a Texas update.
Oh.
Which I think is really fun. Like I didn't know that this was something specifically that they were doing. So they're just adding a few different cities in based on like this aerial data that they got. They've got Abilene in here. I don't know that I would recognize Abilene.
Yeah, fucking generic.
What's
Waco.
funny is they got Waco in here, and they've got the stadium in Waco, which I do recognize.
Yeah.
But then the majority of this was sent. They've got Temple.
Fucking Temple. Everyone I know from Temple runs away from Temple as fast as possible. Cedar Park.
They've literally got Cedar Park is like one of the Cedar Park is a suburb of Austin.
Yeah.
It's weird that they have just Cedar Park.
Oh, man. You could go through Cedar Park. That's exciting. You can see their high schools.
Right.
The Target. Like, fucking what?
Part of you has to wonder whether it's like, the reason that a lot of people play Microsoft Flight Simulator is to fly over their house, and like a bunch of people live in Cedar Park.
Do you think they like pinged, where everyone's from that plays Flight Simulator, and then just like made their cities? And it's like there were enough fucking weirdos in Cedar Park playing Flight Simulator.
It is possible. But they also put in Austin, so there's the whole Austin.
Yeah, I'll
skyline.
recognize Austin.
Yep. Everything's a little like funky. There's the stadium.
Yeah, there's never that much water.
Downtown and the 360 bridge.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
it's kind of cool to see
there's not enough traffic on the roads.
If you don't live in LA or New York, you never get to see your city in a video game.
That is very true. Yeah, Austin. Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see my city in a video game.
It's very funny to see when people are like, this character's from Austin, Texas, and he'll be like, the kid from there were like the Mighty Ducks, the second one, they have like a kid from Texas.
D2?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm from Austin, Texas, y'all. And I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're from Temple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're 100%. You are from Temple. If he was like, I'm from Waco, Texas, everyone, I'd be like, all right, yeah, maybe.
See, the thing is that that like Waco is now bougie, right? Because of fucking Chip and Joanna and all that bullshit. Like when my parents came down here at one point, they were like, ooh, we're going to take your aunt and your sister and we're going to drive up to Waco. And I'm like, why? And then I remembered because my ex watched the Chip and Joanna show that I was like, oh, right. All those houses are in Waco.
Yeah.
So now all these bougie fucks are like moving to Waco.
My cousins flew into Waco, or they flew into Austin and like visited for a second.
Yeah.
too much, like too last minute for me to like hang out with them. And but I was like keeping up on their Instagram stories, and they were like, "Oh, having wine at blah blah blah," and I was like, "I've never heard of this place," and I like looked it up, and it was in Waco, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking, you drove to Waco." The fuck are you guys doing?
Fuckers.
To me, that just sounded weird. Like, what do you do? Why? To Waco?
Yeah.
I also wouldn't have flown into Austin, but
what was I watching? I was watching some animated something recently that made a Chip and Joanna Gaines joke where I was like, what was it like? God, what the fuck was it?
I'm fully removed from
I don't remember what it was. Somebody will say it in the comments. It was some animated show where like it was it was an episode of Beavis and Butthead.
What?
From like 2 years ago.
Yeah, when they like
where Butthead comes in and like starts just macking on Joanna Gaines, and she's like, "I'm gonna leave Chip for you, Butthead," and then he's standing right there and he's like, "Oh no, Joanna, no," and I was like, is Beavis and Butthead making a Chip and Joanna Gaines joke? And oh my God, I've got all the information to understand this.
Yeah,
God damn it.
That would have flown right over my head.
God damn it.
Like the flight simulator would have flown right over my head.
I mean, that
Austin,
dude's from Texas, right?
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Makes some amount of sense. You know what the funny? Okay,
You fucking, it's free.
No, we're almost out of time anyway. I've told this story before, but there was one time where Michael and I were somewhere, and they had one of those. It was like Save My Flip or something like that. It was like some kind of like people were trying to buy and flip properties, but then they got in trouble. So then these two guys are going to come in and do it and fix it up for you. And I don't think Michael had ever been exposed to real estate, HGTV real estate shows. And he was like, why would anybody watch this? And I'm like, you just get sucked in. And so we sat there in the waiting room, and I was just fucking around with my phone. And then he had to go do something. And then he was like, hey, tell me how it ends. And I was like, I told you. No, I'm not. I'm leaving. I'll be back to pick you up later, okay? I'm not going to sit here and watch the rest of this show because I know the power of these. I've seen 4 seasons of that Forged in Fire show because my ex just liked watching this shit. And like, you will walk by the TV, and before you know it, you're like, well, what happens in the next episode?
Yeah, nope, don't do it. That's how I used to feel about the Food Network when I used to have like cable. Yeah. Because they would just be like, oh, I want to see how this turns out. I'm not going to make it.
Nope.
They had like 75 ingredients, and you had to be a chef to know how to. I'm not going to fucking like.
It's like watching Binging with Babish, where you're like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Too many ingredients. I'm never fucking making it.
Yeah,
but like,
dude, I have like a hard 4 ingredients plus spices rule, and that's it.
I was watching one of the things he was doing. On the Bear, there's a part where this lady makes an omelet, and then she crumbles like potato chips over the top. And he's like, well, they didn't really specify in the show, so I'm going to make my own potato chips. Okay, get your mandolin. And I was like, fuck you, man.
Me just making scrambled eggs and smashing a bag of legs on top. Like, that's all I got.
That's all I got. Well, speaking of making stuff, you know that Lego thing where you can like make you can like make a thing and then you submit it.
Yeah.
And then people vote on it, and then if it succeeds, it goes to Lego and they decide whether or not they can make it.
Yes.
This is breaking my heart because somebody made a little Kerbal Space Program.
Oh, that would have been so
Lego
fun.
set.
That's not going to get enough votes.
Oh, no, it totally got enough votes?
Yeah.
This is a Take-Two property. Kerbal Space Program is owned by Take-Two Interactive. I guarantee you those litigious fucks are not going to approve like something as fun and interesting as this. But
that's such an easy... I would just want a little Lego Kerbal guy. I would buy that. I 100% would buy that. Also, Lego space stuff is always like the funnest thing to put together.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, then the thing is that the way that this guy made this was he made the little Kerbals, and then he made the different pieces.
Yeah.
But then, like, you put them together, they've got, like, attachment parts. So, like a Lego, you can assemble them the way that you would in Kerbal Space Program.
Idea. That's so fun.
And, like, it looks so cool.
That's
and
right.
I want it so bad. They even
just to have Jebediah.
Yep. They even had a little video.
It's well done.
Where they celebrated that they got the 10K
I love that
votes.
people. This is so cute.
Little Kerbals. Lego Kerbals.
I love how dedicated Lego people are.
Yeah.
They did the string, the spaceship on a string.
Yep.
If I ever made a movie, that's how I do it. You just have to.
It's just so, the weirdest thing about this though, right, is that the Kerbals look weird because they're regular sized Lego guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but they're actually kind of the size of Kerbals, but they just need heads that are twice the size of Lego heads.
Yeah.
And then they would be perfect.
And it's it's very cute.
But yeah, you can go check it out on Lego. Wait, what?
It's
is
gone.
it gone? It's already gone?
Let's find out.
It was on their thing. It said a new proposal. And I clicked on it earlier today.
Oh, it's 404. Maybe everyone's clicking on it, and it crashed that part of the site.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I was trying to be real.
Down.
They were like, fuck no.
I think the 2K sent them a cease and desist of like, don't you put our intellectual property on your fucking website? So, well, that sucks. You can still go watch the proposal on Sam67C's YouTube channel. So do that because it's rad. I actually was thinking that like I would pay for DLC that was just Lego Kerbal Space Program, where all they have to do is put in like the noise from the Lego movie that when I put the parts together, it's like a little clickety 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 click.
Oh,
like,
100%.
It wouldn't even take that much. Well, I mean, it would take something. So Yoko Taro is the guy that made Nier Automata and a bunch of other stuff, right? Usually whenever he goes to conventions, he wears this moon head.
I remember.
Emil from Nier Replicant. Apparently, when he went to the Anime Expo, he lost his moon head and had to get a new mask right away and went to a store and found this horrible, horrible leprechaun head.
Yeah, he went into a store and said, what would give kids nightmares? And they were like, we got just the thing.
Yep. Apparently, this was like a family heirloom at the store that he went to.
Oh, my God.
And he's convinced that it's haunted. And like, apparently his staff is like, you should definitely take it back to that store and give it back to them before you leave.
And he's like, but now I kind of like it.
But it's so funny to just see him.
Why? Who blocked off the eyes?
I don't know.
Somebody posted a picture, but they like censored the eyes.
It's possible you might be able to see his eyes because he's like incredibly. That's why he wears the mask.
Oh, he's very private. Yeah.
Yeah. It's possible you might be able to see like what color his eyes are, and he's like, "Meow."
Absolutely love it.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. You should all go look it up. It's nuts.
We should have been that crazy.
I am a puppet version of myself, for God's sake.
That is true.
And last but not least, I didn't really want to I couldn't find a good place to put this, so I figured if we're gonna have a bummer of a story, might as well be the last one. Emil Morel, the director, one of the creative directors behind Good and Evil 2, died at age 40. He also worked on Rayman Legends and a bunch of other stuff at Ubisoft. He'd been there since I think it said 2009.
Yeah, super young.
Yeah, 40. Which that sucks.
It does.
A big fat sack of suck.
Yeah, Rayman Legends was
great.
Super fun. Yeah, it was wildly enjoyable.
I wish we had more of those style games.
Origins and Legends were like my two absolute favorites at the time.
It also makes me wonder if there's no details about what happened. If he was sick, if that might be why we haven't seen Beyond Good and Evil 2 for a while, because he's a creative director and he's dealing with illness and stuff. But either way, it's a real shame and pour one out. Sorry to hear it. So this is why I don't really know how to deal with these sorts of stories. So
sorrows and prayers.
Put them somewhere. So
yeah.
And that's it. I guess we ended up at 2 hours, but boy, you know what? We really did dawdle along the way. So
I tried to insert as many nonsensical questions as I possibly could.
Should we do a question really fast?
Yes. I would like to not end on death unless it's fun and we can laugh at it.
Let me see if I can find a fun question.
They're like, if you died.
That was long. How about I
got another idea for PowerWash Simulator.
Okay.
Like an SLC facility.
SCP?
SCP, not SLC. Sorry. I was also talking about SLC Punk to John last night, and so SLC was in my head. SCP facility would be very fun with like the monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
You make a PowerWash horror game?
Yeah, definitely. Put that little thing that like flits up into the side of your vision cone.
Hell yeah.
Okay, here we go. Darth Wookie says, "Hey Jeff and Amanda, I know y'all don't really do questions lately. I was hoping you could answer this one. Maybe do it after the opening What has Jeff done this week section." Oh boy, that was
That's too late.
This was from November of last year. So this anyway, what was your favorite place you have visited? Country, state, theme park, anything. Rage on, bitches.
I haven't done a lot of traveling.
Okay.
Before moving to Austin was the furthest I'd ever visited. I'd ever been from California, from my home.
Okay.
My favorite place in California is Olvera Street.
Okay.
It's like Little Mexico. Yeah, best food, really cool shopping, very fun. I really liked Columbus, Ohio when I went because my friend that lives there is an artist, so she only hung out in like the art district part, like a very artsy part of it.
Okay.
And so she had us going to all the like artsy places, and that was really fun.
All right.
I'm trying to think of like what my favorite place in Austin is, but I can't think of anything. I just like desperately want to leave.
RageSelect Studios. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if I could think of like my favorite place in Austin. It's such a weirdly neutral thing where I'm like, my favorite place in Austin.
Yeah, which isn't really the question. It's just I haven't traveled enough. John and I are hoping within the next few years to go to Japan.
Yep.
So we're in the early stages of planning that out.
Okay. Let's see. I'm really kind of stuck on that. Like, what is your favorite place in Austin to go? Mostly because
I don't do downtown.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever particularly. If I'm going downtown, the only place I want to go is Mohawk. I really like the Mohawk. I like that it's just far enough away that you're not getting like all the college students.
Yeah.
And like they do a lot of punk shows. They do a lot. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about the Austin one. I can say some other places that I think I really, really, really liked. I mean, there was a bunch of places when I was in Europe that I really liked. I really liked Amsterdam. I stayed in Munich for a week in Germany. It's a very Jeff place. Everybody clean and kept to themselves.
Yeah.
And like good food and stuff. I really liked Scotland, kind of on the opposite end of the scale. Everyone was very friendly when I went to Scotland.
Yeah.
So you could like strike up a conversation with a local and they were just like, "Hey, you're from out of town, fucking great. Like, I'll just chew your ear off about whatever you want to talk about."
Yeah.
And Amsterdam was kind of where we had our home base. We spent a lot of time there. I like Amsterdam because Amsterdam is right in the middle of Europe. Holland is right in the middle of Europe. And then it's got a lot of different weirdness to it. So like Indonesia was a Dutch colony. So there's a lot of like Indonesian cuisine in Holland. They have while we were there, they have a monarchy left over, so they had Koningsdag, which was the King's Day, where they dyed all of the canals orange because that was like the color of the monarchy or whatever. But then also it's so close to everything else that you could just you can get anywhere,
you
right?
Like hop around.
Yeah, I really liked it. Really liked it there. Liked a lot of the way that things went there.
So this is kind of related, but kind of off topic, but like what was your favorite food you had when you were overseas?
So it's hard to say one thing. Actually, hold on. Pop. No, it's not hard. Top three. Okay. I got to put this at the bottom, even though it was probably the best thing I've ever eaten in my life, just because it was such a weird thing. When I was in Amsterdam, we got there on the first day where me and my friend were walking around trying to figure out where to eat. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were just wandering around looking for a place to eat. We found this Chinese restaurant. I was like, "What do you think about Chinese?" My friend was like, "Yeah, man, whatever." So go in. pretty nice Chinese restaurant. Pretty fucking nice Chinese restaurant. Like real small and kind of intimate stuff. Ordered beef with broccoli. I was just fucking bring me American beef with broccoli. I ate it and I was like, this is incredibly good beef with broccoli. It turns out that Chinese restaurant had a Michelin star. And like, when I had the beef with broccoli, I realized it was one of a few times in my life that this happened where I realized this is what it is supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
And every other time you've had it, like it's supposed
just
to be
like the sad copy of it. Yeah.
Yes. Like instead of using okay.
Did it ruin it for you for a little bit? You're just like,
I don't know. Beef. It's beef. It's broccoli. I love them both. But like, okay, so normally you're probably going to get like beef with broccoli sauce out of a bottle.
Yeah.
If it's a nice place, you're probably going to get like oyster sauce mixed with soy sauce in a pan with some fresh like herbs and stuff to make that. This place was obviously using like actual oysters that they got from the market to make, because you could really taste it. And it was like, oh, that's what the part of the sauce that's the indistinguishable savory part of the brown sauce and the beef with broccoli is supposed to have been oyster this whole time, but I just didn't ever fucking taste it.
That's funny. So what happens when you spend your whole life shopping clearance, Jeff?
Yep. 2, Germany was amazing. Every day I was there, I woke up and I got a Fanta and a fucking strudel for breakfast. I would eat a bratwurst for lunch, and I would eat a schnitzel with a giant fucking mug of German purity law beer for dinner, and it was just fucking great. It's all built to go. It's all salty and beery and delicious, and I was
Germany sounds like Jeff Land.
It was great. It was great. But then I think that it's only because it was so different. I've never had anything like it before. I was talking about Indonesian food in Amsterdam. There's a dish that they have there that's called rijstafel. And it's, let's see if I can find it. Stoffel. That is not spelled correctly.
They were like, were you trying to spell this?
So Rijstafel is or Rijstafel or whatever, I don't know what I'm fucking doing, is an Indonesian thing, and it's like an Indonesian tapas basically, where you get like you'll get like rice, and then you get all these little dishes.
Little mix-ins on the side. Yeah.
And so Indonesian food has a lot of like, it's one of those like a beef in like a peanut sauce, like a savory peanut sauce, a lot of coconut, a lot of like interesting kind of just like cucumber stuff, like good stuff, and then a lot of like grilled like what do you call them?
Kebabs,
skewers, like kebab
meat.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So like we ate this stuff all the time because it was just like such a different flavor combination in a way that you just don't normally get. And because it was in, it's like eating curry in England. It was always good, no matter where we went. So those are probably the top 3 things that I had there.
Nice.
Yep. Also, I really liked when I went to LA with Jason.
Oh yeah, except the part where you twisted your ankle.
Yeah, but the rest of it was great because we rented an Airbnb when you could still get a really cool one.
Yeah, for cheap, and they didn't like overprice themselves out of fucking business and shit.
18 chores before you left.
Yeah. I love LA. I genuinely, if I had never left California, I would have lived in LA because I really love the city. Even the bad I like, where Austin is a city. It's not an LA kind of city, but it's a city. But it's just like the wrong demographic for me.
Austin?
Yeah. It's very like, it's either college town or old movie guys, and I'm neither one of those.
Yeah. There's
because like LA is like washed out. There's like sections that are just like washed out artists, and then there's like up and coming dreamers, and there's like fake fucking Instagram people, and then there's just like born and raised people that are just a total different flavor. I just like LA was like fun for me. I think
everything that you just described is in Austin as well. I think the problem is just that our friend group tends to be based on the movie site you know, a lot of the people that we know are people that gravitated into that.
But also even
orbit.
like my interest is movies and stuff like that, right? And pop culture-y stuff. So like even without the group of friends that even the people that you're talking about, I'm not really within that group of friends anymore.
Right.
But I still like, if I want to get into movie stuff, it leads back to those people.
Sure.
Because that group is Austin.
Mm-hmm. I guess
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because like there's a way to find my way back into that group.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I want to get into fun, cool movie stuff, I have to go to the Alamo Draft House. There's no other fucking place. I tried to get into, there's a place in Austin that just reopened. It used to be I Love Video, and then they sold and became We Love Video, and I tried to get in with them, and then it turned into the same fucking people. It was all the same people.
Yep.
I gotta get out of this town, man.
Austin's well, see, the thing is that Austin is like, there are pockets of this town that are very specifically wired up where it's like you just happen to get in on the upper floor. So like again, now you're coming back to the same groups of people that, you know, are the founders of the Draft House or the people that own I Love Video. Because the thing is that, you know, when I went to art school, I got plugged into a lot of the art scene in Austin. Completely different group of people, nowhere near any of that other stuff. Of course, one of those people was my teacher that used to work with Corey Coleman that then got me a job at Spill.
I'm just saying, they like all fucking lead back to the same goddamn people.
But then also, like, back when I had my high school friends, the thing is that this group is wide ranging because of how these, like, all of the movie people, then they have like the second tier of people that all have their own thing that then get hooks into other people's stuff. But like back when I used to hang out with some of my high school friends, there was a time where my friend, one of my friends he was like a sound engineer and a roadie, and he would work the door at like these like punk rock shows. And I could just like, you know, call him up and like put on a fucking button up shirt and go hang out with all the crusties, because like I didn't care whether they like that was the funniest thing was like I would walk into these like horrible punk rock house parties full of a bunch of like burnout 17-year-olds, and I would have like my shirt tucked in and be wearing like a button-up shirt, and they would all like look at me and give me dagger eyes, but I didn't care because they were a bunch of 17 crust punks and I'm not in fucking high school. And then I think that like 5 minutes of that turned it, because it became clear that I don't care about your displeasure at my social status. The fact that I don't conform to your gutter punk aesthetic does not bother me. And then they would just be like, all right. Also, I would usually bring a lot of beer with me and then just be like, you guys want some beer?
It's wildly funny to me that within like any alt scene, that if they come up to you and ask you if you are fucking punk or you are whatever, the correct answer is no.
Get with me.
I'm not interested. I'm not in any of it.
Whatever this is.
And then they're like, fine. Oh, okay, you're cool. And it's like, fuck, that is the dumbest game you guys play.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that, but also the other side of that is that like my experience with all of those different communities comes from the fact that I was born and raised in this town, and those experiences over the course of like 35 years of my life, right? The other thing I know about Austin more than anything else is that it is cliquey and pissy and mean girly as fuck.
Yeah.
There are some judgmental assholes in this town, which is why you have to immediately learn to be like, I don't care, and fuck off. But then there's a lot of communities that if you don't know somebody in there, and then you don't play the game, then you are not invited to come to the party.
There is a very specific way Austin works, and it is very much you have to know the right people. Kind of thing. But in general, like, and I love Austin. I actually really like living. I've lived here for 12 years. I loved LA when I lived in Southern California, and I lived close to LA. But when I turned 23, I was desperate to get the fuck away from it. And 12 years living here, I'm desperate to get away from here. Sure. I don't think I'm a like put roots down anywhere type of person. I'm a live at a place for a decent amount of time and then be like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I can't keep my hair the same color for more than 2 months. Like, why would I fucking live in a place for long periods of time?
He's got the wanderlust.
Yeah.
The wanderlust.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
That's all we have.
That's the podcast. We had an extra 20 minutes on
You're
travels.
welcome. Good question.
Yeah.
Darth Wookiee?
Darth Wookiee 007 007. Yes, patreon.com/RageSelect. I don't know. Like if you come to Austin, the only people that you need to know are us because we're cool.
Yeah, we'll party with you.
That's fine. We'll just go to the bar and we'll hang out. Like, I don't know how to get you into anything anymore, but like I don't go to anything anymore.
I wouldn't even know where to go.
There's people come to Austin and they say, "Where should I go?" I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you tell me. I'll meet you there.
I'll give you Tessa's contact information and they will tell you where to go.
That is true.
I will be at home doing the RageSelect podcast this week and probably forever.